the United States in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the perfection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
All right, if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead. But anyway, yeah. Welcome to WVFI, the voice of the Fighting Irish, and we're jumping on to this second of two-game series between the Penn State Nittany Lions and Notre Dame Fighting Irish. A bit early today in order to celebrate the senior class, and we just gave a nice in-arena shout-out to the voice of the Fighting Irish, Tyler Reedy, our good friend and colleague, co-chair of WVFI. And he got a nice ovation on the scoreboard, and deservedly so. For the last 2 years, he has called every single Notre Dame game, whether it's in the United States or Belfast, whether it's here at Compton Family Ice Arena on a Saturday or way out in Boston the day after Thanksgiving. And so now we progress along beyond Tyler to some of the student managers. Taylor Gerard, NDTV's own Avery White. As a great celebration on hand. Notre Dame doing this one before the game this year as opposed to after, which they have done in years past. The ice is in pristine condition. The players are not sweaty. And we will get the players going here. Niko Jovanovic, the next one to be honored, and he's got a nice fan club in attendance. For Jovanovic, more career high this year, games played and goals. Scored a big game-tying goal in this arena against Minnesota a couple weeks ago. First career goal came last year against Wisconsin, and he's got 4 family members on hand. Hard worker. Always had to earn his opportunity. Started this year as kind of the 13th, maybe even 14th forward, but he's been in the lineup with excellent consistency. Sutter Mazzotti next, first year with the Irish. Also established plenty of new career highs here in the blue and gold for Mazzotti. Goals, assists, points, power play goals, and shots on goal. And he is eligible to return next year should he choose. But either way, he will be honored tonight. The only senior forward other than Jovanovic in the lineup for Notre Dame today. First of 2 goaltenders, and how about this applause for Jack Williams? He's been a steady presence on the Fighting Irish for the last 4 years. He got his first career start this year, played well against Western Michigan back on January 2nd. There's also a 2-time All-Academic Big Ten, so he's good in the classroom as well, and he's got tons of family on hand. And you know, in an era where loyalty to your college athletics program is way less common than it used to be, Jack Williams, the epitome of loyal to the Fighting Irish. Second senior goalie on the roster, Luke Pearson, the 4th player to be honored. Came over from Yale this year, where he had 2 very strong years before an injury ended last season, or 2 seasons ago short. Comes over to Notre Dame and has been the backup goaltender all year. Got a couple starts this year as well. Career .907 save percentage for Pearson. Pretty solid number in the crease. The Swede, Axel Kumlin, with a nice ovation after his 3rd year coming over from Miami, and boy, has he been a great addition, first by Jeff Jackson and then stuck it out to stay with Brock Shahan this year. 36 points with the Irish across 3 seasons, which is the second most among Notre Dame defensemen in that time, only trailing Paul Fisher. And the last player honored tonight, Michael Mastro-Domenico, captain for Notre Dame, 117th career game tonight, all in an Irish sweater. He's got a career-high 5 goals this year as a leader on the blue line. He gets to wear that C on the Irish, wear green knight and the green jerseys. That's your 2025-2026 senior class. 6 players, 3 managers, 9 unbelievable individuals and their families, all on the carpet right now, and the families will begin to head off as the players will recalibrate themselves. Be thankful for all the moments that they've shared with their families over the years and get ready to play their final home game of their careers, most likely. The only exception would be if they come back for a graduate year. There will be no more home games for Notre Dame after tonight until the 2026-27 season. Michael Mastro-Domenico, Axel Kumlin, Nico Jovanovic, Sutter Mazzotti, Jack Williams, and Luke Pearson. We have heard that there are going to be 3 national anthems performed before tonight's game. Of course, the Star-Spangled Banner, but also the Canadian national anthem in honor of Jovanovic and Mastro-Domenico, as the 6 seniors are the first 6 to take the ice for warm-ups, as well as the Swedish national anthem in honor of Axel Kumlin. We will step aside for a moment, 6.5 minutes or so until puck drop. And when we come back, we will be presenting you the final regular season home game in the Notre Dame hockey season. Stay with us on WVFI.
You're listening to Notre Dame Hockey on the Voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. Stay tuned for more coverage of Notre Dame and Penn State.
The Band of the Fighting Irish is led by our colorful, kilted Irish Guard. Each of the 10 guards must be 6 feet 2 inches in height, but will appear over 7 feet tall in full uniform. Formed in 1949 by then-director H. Lee Hope, the Irish Guard are skilled marchers who are chosen for this honor on the basis of ability, appearance, and spirit. And now, we introduce to you the Irish Guard in their traditional performance of Dam Shabua, our victory clog.
Presenting the colors tonight, the Notre Dame Army, ROTC.
The national anthems are over. The puck is almost ready to drop. And if it's going to be anything like last night, then this clash between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the 5th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions is not one you're going to want to miss. Last year they played at Wrigley Field in the outdoor 8-round shootout went the way of the Irish. Last night, Notre Dame was up to a 3-0 lead thanks to 3 first-period goals, but watched it slip away 1 period, 1 goal at a time. Penn State picked up the shootout win by the same 4-3 score the Irish did at the home of the Chicago Cubs just 1 year ago. And thus, the stage is set for the final home game of the Notre Dame hockey regular season. They're in their senior day greens, Penn State in the same whites as last night. 4 starters for Notre Dame, part of the seniors that were honored during pregame Senior Day festivities. Thanks for joining us on your Saturday night. Charlie Morris, my partners, Senior Jack Rinaldi and Senior Ryan Murphy. And Ryan, we'll start with you. What's your biggest takeaway from last night?
Well, Notre Dame can certainly hang with number 5 Penn State. I would look for them to do the same here tonight. There's something about those green jerseys. They haven't won in them since Michigan 2023.
And Jack, how are they going to win in them tonight for the first time?
I think you continue what you did in the first period, but you have to dial in the screws defensively a little bit and not let Penn State claw themselves back into the game. You have to get a lead as they're out here already. Charlie, I'll let you handle it.
Yeah, puck has been dropped, and we are underway. Notre Dame moving right to left, and they've got it in the offensive zone. Mazzotti trying to kick it away from the Penn State defense as it's covered in the crease by Kevin Radler, making the start tonight. And right away, some fireworks as a little scramble at the net after Radler covers, coming in with a .910 career save percentage in 24 games this season, 16 games, 11-5 record with a .906 save percentage. He got the start in game 2 when these two teams met earlier in the year in Happy Valley. Ended up with a 6-3 win, 27 saves for Radler. No change in net for Notre Dame. Nicholas Kempf got the call after playing okay last night in his first game back from injury. Certainly could have had 1 or 2, but also made enough saves to get Notre Dame a point, and they have iced it with 19:24 to play in period 1.
You know, he's on the ice now. One person I'm keeping an eye on for Notre Dame tonight, Paul Fisher. Thought he did an excellent job matched up against Gavin McKenna, obviously the all-world freshman for Penn State. They're not on the ice together right now, but if they are, look for that matchup to be a key.
Yeah, yesterday Fisher did a fantastic job, to your point, Jack, of neutralizing Gavin McKenna, whose only point in the game came at 4-on-4. Cole Knubel into the offensive zone right below us, checked away by Collins, Nolan Collins, right-handed third-pair defenseman for Guy Godowski and Penn State. And it's back out to center. Brennan Ali will swing it around. Radler stops it behind the net. Cool moment pregame. If you were hearing us on our Nat mics, they played 3 national anthems before the game tonight. The Swedish one in honor of Axel Kumlin, the senior for Notre Dame. But Kevin Radler, surely also a fan of that, out of Gale, Sweden. Left point shot by Jackson Smith, back in the lineup today after exiting late yesterday. Didn't see him at all in overtime and for many stretches of the third period, but he's back out there, number 7 in white. Top defenseman for Guy Godowski, first-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Across the red line, and it will be dumped deep by Knubel. We're 1.5 minutes in, still no shots to speak of. Gavin McKenna, right wing, will play it deep. Aiden Fink will go after it with Kumlin and Luke Misa. Fink tries to get it to Misa. It's cut off behind the net and played away by Sutter Mazzotti. Given away to McKenna. Tries to get it across to Misa, who will go out to the right point for a long shot through traffic from Matt Godowski. Gavin McKenna now in the slot after a centering pass has it blocked. Kumlin chops it up the far side. Werner there, Mazzotti there, and Mazzotti is able to get it out. Although it's going to be shot right back in by Godowski. Left-hander playing his offside for the last 2 games, as he has most of the season. Kuhlman up the middle of the ice for Cole Brown, chips it in, goes for a change. Zadi the only one forechecking for Notre Dame. Crashes into the boards as it's Chin DeGraves. Nick Chin DeGraves back in there at the fourth line center again. Pretty solid game from him last night. Trouble in his own zone right now on the forecheck from Dashiell Oliver. Carter Slaggert in to help, but it's rescued away by Cade Christensen. Nearly gives it away to Femus along the near side, but it's played out to center. He'll be chased down by Mastro Domenico around his own crease. Outlet pass for Oliver, goes off his stick. And he'll be turned the other way by Lev Katzen. Chin DeGraves for McKenna, getting a shift on the fourth line. Tries to center it, has it back now behind the net. Now he does center it. Kemp with a big stop, they score on the rebound. First goal of the season for Casey Amon, set up by Gavin McKenna. That took just 2:58, and the Nittany Lions strike first.
Yeah, you called it, Charlie. Gavin McKenna taking the shift on the fourth line. And we saw just how much they played him in overtime, and Guy Godowski likes to get him minutes on lines he's not necessarily on. He comes over the bench here and is the beneficiary of a turnover below the goal line. All he has to do is center the puck, and it beats Kemp. I believe 5-hole, and the rebound was sort of between the legs there, and it ends up getting tapped home by Amon.
Yeah, and I think you also got him out there on the fourth line, got him away from Fisher, right? You just saw 2 possessions ago, Fisher blocks one, sends him into the boards. And they've been talking to each other all game last night, early again today. And Penn State's coach gets him away from Fisher, and immediately McKenna with plenty of success.
Yeah, no love lost between Paul Fisher and Gavin McKenna last night, as Jack correctly alluded to. To see if Notre Dame has a response. Will Bell lays a hit behind the net. Christensen emerges and will go up the glass along the far side to get it out. Henry Nelson across to chase it down. Jaden Kerr backtracks behind his own net and starts the controlled breakout, but bounce pass is too far. Trying to get it to Maddox Fleming in there tonight, playing fourth line center, and it's icing. So Fleming, who's normally a wing, although he was recruited as a center, replacing Michael Skirmerhorn in the lineup. No confirmation on why the change. Thought Skirmerhorn was pretty strong in last night's game, Ryan.
Yeah, that's a big loss for Notre Dame. That fourth line, Garchine being able to roll 4 lines has been so important for their success, at least in the way they've played recently. That fourth line is not the same without him.
So it'll be Jovanovic, Fleming, and Bell on the fourth line tonight, and they're stuck out there after the icing. J.J. Webush tries to center it, and it's taken away by the Irish, and they will chip it out. Bell after it against Jackson Smith. Smith will take it behind his own net with the Irish changing. Outlet pass to Reese Lawback. Ton of space along the right wing. Drop pass and more room for a shot that's blocked. Is that one off the stick of Webush, with Notre Dame's defense playing passively, but it's blocked out of play.
Yeah, it was a real good kind of pick play there by Lawback. He carries the puck into the zone, drops it off, and then keeps skating. That pushes Henry Nelson back and gives Webush room, plenty of time to get a look at the net.
I don't want to be Mr. Cliche here, but this is a really important couple of minutes from Notre Dame. You cannot let Penn State go up 2 goals this early in the game. Notre Dame's been fine coming back from 1-goal deficits. 2 goals, a different animal altogether.
Smith at the right point is off wing. That one flings high off the glass. Brennan Ali in his own corner to get it, but it gives it away. Smith a one-timer. No, he fakes the one-timer. Now he shoots from distance. Kemp, the save, can't catch it, but it's rescued by the Irish as the shot came from the right point. And this one is chipped off Danny Nelson's stick into the Nittany Lions bench.
Good stick in front of the net there by Paul Fisher. Misa was lurking around for that rebound out in front of the blue paint, and he just kind of got his stick on Misa's stick and made sure he wasn't able to get a handle of it. You're absolutely right about this, though, Jack. Notre Dame is struggling to establish the sort of puck possession they did that led to their great start in yesterday's contest. They've got to kind of ease their way into this game. They've had a tough time replicating it on 2 nights in a series.
Tough to do against the number 5 team in the country, of course, but the way they played last night, you'd think they'd have at least a play at the net so far. They have yet to. We're 4.5 minutes into the first period. Carried in along the left wing, and checked off the play is Katzen. Good stand-up defense by Notre Dame's Jaden Kerr. Irish will now move it the other way with Katzen and Kerr still battling behind the play. It's basically a 4-on-4 up the ice. Evan Werner curls back. He's shoved pretty well by Shade. Cole Brown across. Mastrodomenico will throw it there. It's blocked away by Godowski and then
look
flipped
out.
into the netting. Would be a penalty in the NHL, but
Read my mind, Charlie.
yeah, no delay of game against Braden Ford. But Penn State will not be able to change. So Notre Dame will get Knubel, Nelson, Ali out there. Face off to the left of Radler. Penn State stuck with that third line out. Actually, it's a mishmash of lines. You got Katzen still out there instead of Van Olm. Nelson breaks his stick on the face-off. Notre Dame still ends up with the puck momentarily before it's poked out to center, where Henry Nelson will cross-corner dump. Katzen kicks it back, but it's given away. Right point for a fluttering shot, fanned on by Kerr. Danny Nelson spins away from Shade behind the net. He's taken down.
Penalty.
That's going to be a penalty. Going to be a hold, I believe.
Oh,
and then
man.
Nelson with a hit. After the whistle, we'll have to see if that gets called.
Yeah, the referee from center ice skated in to have a conversation with the official who called the original penalty on Shade, and I think they might call him both.
Well,
We'll
maybe
see.
not.
I only saw a signal for a hold.
As did I.
Yeah, the hold is on Shade. He got that free arm in and impeded Nelson behind the net. Only one penalty box, doors open. It was kind of an awkward collision there in the corner where it seemed like Fink had stopped skating when the whistle blew. I don't know if Nelson got away with one there, but it seemed like if they wanted to call it, it was pretty clear.
Well, if it's anything like last night, this might be the only power play of the game.
Yeah.
Certainly let a lot go last night.
Notre Dame had two power plays right
At the
back
same
to back.
time.
Yep. Minute plus a 5-on-3 did not score. Penn State had one power play hit the post but did not score. The teams also played 2 minutes of 4-on-4 in which Penn State scored. Those were the penalties last night. So Notre Dame's fourth-ranked power play coming into the weekend goes to work. And Evan Werner has it in the corner, checked off by Christensen. 3 green jerseys in there, all 4 Penn State jerseys in the area. Now Aiden Fink backs out. Werner has it in the circle. Tries a shot, it goes off the stick of Collins and off the glass. Knubel trying to battle away. He takes Fink down, and it's cleared. No penalty coming as it was a battle between Knubel and Fink. And the talented junior out of Calgary, Alberta, for Penn State won that one. Fisher starts the slingshot breakout, minute 20 on the man advantage. Played to the right wing for Werner, spins back, pressured by DeMarsico. Jackson Smith loses it. Werner with space, tries to pass it, it's blocked. A mini 3-on-1, and Jared Crespo with an excellent stick to break it up.
Yeah, great job by Crespo there. I thought Werner maybe had a shot if he wanted to take it.
He caused that turnover, too. He set up a 3-on-1 in the zone.
Second unit now for Notre Dame. A shot is tipped by Brown. It goes wide. Ali trying to get there first and keep it in. He does momentarily, but the Nittany Lions will take over, and it's dumped the length of the ice by Amin, the goal scorer early on. 1-0 lead for Penn State. Cole Brown right below us. Dumps it in. Chases it down with Collins. Pins him to the glass. Ali wins it. Plays it out to the right point. It bounces on Mastrodomenico and comes out to center. And now he plays it back into the zone, but Notre Dame was offsides. So they'll have to reset, and Penn State in no rush to move up ice. Cade Christensen sends it down. Just 10 left on the power play. Notre Dame, no shots, still no shots for the game. We are 7.5 minutes into period number 1. 1-0 Nittany Lions lead. Carried into the zone by Axel Kuhlman along the right wing. Rims it around to nobody. Aiden Fink, first one there. Fink through center. Right on the tape of McKenna. McKenna fakes inside, goes outside, centers it, it's blocked. Nearly a chance for Luke Misa as McKenna showing off the playmaking abilities early. And then a shot from the right point from Amin goes into the netting. We are 7 minutes, 45 seconds into the first period of play. It's all Penn State. They've got the lead, and Notre Dame does not have a shot.
Thank you so much, CPR.
everyone. Thanks for joining us on WVFI. Charlie Morris joined by Jack Rinaldi and Ryan Murphy. And Murph, Jack, you guys both think matchups are going to be important tonight.
I do, Ryan.
Yeah, they certainly do. And Guy Gadowski's really tough to match lines against. We saw him on the 1-0 goal. He threw Gavin McKenna out there with the fourth line. They did that perpetually with a lot of their high talented players. Aiden Fink started the game with the third line right off the bat. It makes things really tough for a first-year head coach like Brock Sheehan. And I know Brock's got experience, but it's been a thing even last night as well.
On the goal, McKenna here a shot. It was Drew Mackey and Michael Mastrodomenico, the D pair. Mackey, this extra skater for Notre Dame tonight, not who you want defending Gavin McKenna. Brennan Ali, left wing, throws it to the net. It's tipped wide by Danny Nelson. Good look from Ali to Nelson off the rush. Ali taken down, but he comes away with the puck. So does Cole Knuble. Spins it low. Danny Nelson behind the net. Chips it along in the direction of Ali, but it's played away from him to McKenna at the far wing. Cole Knuble checked down. Strong play from Jackson Smith. And the Nittany Lions take it. Aiden Fink, right wing, neutral zone. Tons of room. Into the right circle. Tries a drop pass for McKenna, but it does not connect with him. Given away up the strong side, though, by Henry Nelson. So Fink will gather it in the near corner. Fink leaves it there, trickles behind the net where Nelson checks off Misa, and that allows the Irish to escape in a controlled breakout where it will be dumped in by Knuble. Everyone changing behind him. He goes in on the forecheck. That's actually Dashiell Oliver, excuse me. Aiden Fink has it back. At the end of a shift, centers it in the direction of the cutting defenseman Shade, all the way on the far side. Now a toe drag move by Lawback, tries a shot that goes through the crease. Out the other side, DeMarsico half wall. On his backhand, centers it. Fisher intercepts, comes back to DeMarsico. Tries another centering pass that Oliver intercepts. Ahead for Slaggert. Got enough of it to slow it down so it won't be icing. Forechecks his man into the boards. And then Lawback will emerge and find DeMarsico on the left wing. Matt DeMarsico plays it in deep. Webush the only forechecker. Notre Dame moves it quickly. Femus, right in front of his bench, will shoot it in to the far side. Productive dump in with Bell chasing there. Forces Amon back. Christensen takes it along the near side and flips it out to center. Michael Mastrodomenico there. Ahead for Fleming. Trouble with it. McKenna back out there. Double shifting now with the third line. Van Olm in deep for it. Also a defenseman in deep. Christensen nearly drove it to the net. But Notre Dame will take it away and they will flip it out. Fleming all alone on the rush, and so he will just play it into the zone as far as he can. McKenna right wing side, and he's checked by Mastro. Knocked him down and knocked the puck away. In the middle for Jovanovic, curls out to the half wall, shoots low, and it's off the right pad of Radler, just past Werner.
Yeah, Werner was there, back door. Maybe he had the cleanup attempt, but it just was too quick by him there.
Yeah, almost you'd hope it hits his shin pad and goes in if you're Notre Dame. Left point, Henry Nelson off the giveaway. Slides it across. Another pass.
Oh.
It goes high. Werner missed a wide open cage in front of the net. Mazzotti tries a wrap. Werner tries a shot. Saved by Radler. And it's out to center.
I can't believe Cole Brown didn't shoot it in the first place. He made a nice pass to Werner, but he had a great look.
He did. I don't think he was ready for the pass from Henry Nelson.
The second excellent pass this series by Nelson. He's really good at that left point.
And he got a primary assist on the Dashiell Oliver goal last night. 3-on-2 the other way. Chin to Graves has it back and tips it wide from in front of the net. Here come the Irish the other way with Brown, pressure from behind him. And so Crespo will take over in his own zone. Plays it ahead for Misa. Aiden Fink, right wing side. Curls back, now cuts to the middle. Right down Broadway is a good shot and an even better stop. Matt Gadowski had the chance as the seas parted, and Kempf had to be alert at the top of his crease.
Man, that was Notre Dame's best chance of the game, and a real good sign. They're generating things, right? Henry Nelson had the knockdown at the line, caused the turnover, and then sent that great pass to Cole Brown.
He did. I was really impressed with Notre Dame's shift there. That was more what we saw in the first period last night. Because right now, they're lucky to be trailing by only one goal.
Yeah, and it was the starting line for Notre Dame, which is 2/3 of the second line, and then Jovanovic, who generated that chance. Cole Brown was initially not out there. I believe he then came out there, but interesting to note. Jovanovic again causing havoc in what has been a really solid season for the senior, finally getting consistent minutes. Fink one-on-one against Mastro Domenico, cuts to his forehand. Mastro stays right with him and forces a turnover where it's played out to center. Gavin McKenna is checked into his own bench by Ali. Fink on his backhand, shoved down by Mastro Domenico for a second time. And the Irish will escape. Plenty of room through the monogram for Brennan Ali. Tries a shot, Radler with the glove, and he'll cover with 7:38 to play in the first.
I will say Notre Dame taking every opportunity to be as physical as they can with Gavin McKenna.
As they should. And you mentioned Jovanovic taking the extra shift there. Part of what he brings to this team is that physicality, and Michael Skirmerhorn, we talked about him in the open, what a kind of loss he is. They're going to try to get Will Bell and Nico Jovanovic more minutes maybe than Will Maddox-Lumley, because those guys bring that level of physicality.
They certainly do, and for many chunks of that's going to be a slash right off the face-off. As Slaggert will go to the box, he knocked the stick out of the hands of Wiebusch, so second penalty of the weekend for Carter Slaggert. And so we'll get to see the Nittany Lions power play go to work with 7:34 to play in the first. And just to finish your point, Murph, you're absolutely right. And last night I saw a lot of Jovanovic and Bell against McKenna on the ice.
And they did well.
Yeah, Will Bell had the takeaway against McKenna leading to the goal, the breakaway goal.
And he was in a situation where he was being physically pushed around on the wall that caused him to turn it over. By the way, not a very disciplined penalty there by Carter Slaggert. Offensive zone face-off slash.
Nittany Lions will send out DeMarsico, Fink, Wiebusch, McKenna, and Smith. 4 forwards, 1 defenseman. Cleared by the Irish, almost right onto the tape of Sutter Mazzotti. Almost an accidental breakaway pass, but Notre Dame will take the clear. Penn State a little disorganized early on the man advantage. Mazzotti and Bell speak of Will Bell, the penalty-killing forwards. McKenna into the zone, half wall, curls up, gives it away. Mazzotti, can he get it out? He cannot, held in. Right wing side, Wiebusch, McKenna below the goal line, and Wiebusch on the half wall.
That's got to get out there.
Absolutely. Fink, center point. McKenna back for Fink in the circle. Shoots, save, Kemp with the blocker. Left point, Jackson Smith. Right point, McKenna. Saucer pass back for Smith. NCAA right at the top in terms of goals by defensemen. Tied for third coming into the weekend and leading the Big Ten. Irish able to clear, and they will change all 4. Penn State keeps the same unit out there other than Smith, who heads to the bench. Matt Godowski replaces him. Godowski with it through neutral ice. McKenna will go back to the last trailer, Luke Misa. Misa tries to cut it towards the net. Also a new face on the ice for Penn State. He cannot. DeMarsico battling with Axel Kumlin. Right wing shot, and it goes through the crease from Lawback. Left point McKenna, cross ice. Misa from the circle towards the net. And it's cleared after Notre Dame blocked it.
Good last 30 seconds on the kill there. Might have gotten away with a high stick, Axel Kumlin, but
hook, yeah.
Got away with one, and 10 seconds left on the power play.
Yeah, for a penalty kill, that's been struggling. Very positive kill here for Notre Dame as Fisher takes a spill behind the net. Puck comes into the slot, and Kempf snares it. An aggressive glove save for Kempf on a good look as the penalty was expiring. That'll take us to our second media timeout of period 1. 5:33 to play. Penn State still with a 1-0 lead. first period of the last home game for Notre Dame hockey this season. Thanks for joining us on WVFI. Charlie Morris, my partners Jack Rinaldi and Ryan Murphy. Shots in arena are 7-3 for the Nittany Lions. And they have the 1-0 lead on a goal. The first goal of the season by Casey Amin. Gavin McKenna the primary assist, and you can give a secondary assist to Nick Chin DeGraves. Off the defensive zone draw for Notre Dame, Oliver will get it out. And he's taken down, or falls perhaps. Amin will dump it deep. Along the right half wall, it's Slaggert. Plays it back. Notre Dame goes behind their own net. And they will move it quickly through center. Across the Monaghan, Michael Mastrodomenico has a shot blocked. Oliver in the corner, and will play it deeper. Cade Christensen there. Oliver drops the stick to avoid taking a holding penalty. Brown will lay a hit. Maybe got the worst of the hit as he tried to lay it on Amin, who's listed, by the way, as the fourth line right wing tonight. I'm almost positive he's playing defense. We got Wiebusch, Van Olm, and Schoen on the ice with Christensen and Amin. So according to line charts, that should be 4 forwards. But I believe Amin playing defense, which would explain why there's so much Gavin McKenna, Aiden Fink with the bottom 6 tonight.
Yeah.
Cole Brown in a battle along the half wall with Schoen. Brown wins it momentarily, still trying to play it through, almost did. Amin broke it up though, and Schoen will start the breakout through center and into the Notre Dame zone. 4 minutes and change to play in period 1. Evan Werner off the boards into the zone. Smith will play it towards behind his own net. Doesn't quite get there, but it's taken by Crespo. Crespo swings it up the boards. Van Olm trying to get it out, and he does on the second effort. Not very far, though. Evan Werner tried to get back into the zone. Stopped up there, and it's taken by Braden Ford down the right wing. Ford all the way into the corner where he spins and then cycles it low. Axel Kuhlman retrieves it in the far corner. Strong side breakout pass. Cole Brown across the red line, across the blue line. Mazzotti just stays on side. Now he has to try to receive the pass. 3 Notre Dame forwards go for 1. Body check on Crespo, and that's going to allow plenty of room for DeGraves the other way. Or Chin DeGraves, I should say. 1-on-1 the other direction after that's broken up. Werner with help coming. Mazzotti, and it's off the shoulder of Radler with Jovanovic dangerously lurking on the other side. Center point, and a long shot is tipped into the netting off the stick of Jursev.
Man, I don't know if Sunner Mazzotti didn't see Niko Jovanovic sneaking down that right side or just didn't like the passing lane, because he didn't get a great shot off, sailed it high, and he pulled it a little too tight to his body, but man, Niko was on his strong side and would have had an open stick for the shot.
I will say, though, I know I've talked a lot about Paul Fisher. Another player I've been really pleased with the play of in these 2 games is Sutter Mazzotti. Thought he's been a really physically imposing presence. He's made smart plays for the most part. We'll see if that continues in the next 2 periods.
Evan Werner there also set him up. Got to give him some credit.
Yeah, Werner, last night, his 5th straight game without a point after 12 points in the previous 6, but he still looks dangerous every time he's got the puck.
Well, he's so fast. He just creates opportunities all the time.
Created one there, and Mazzotti was denied, perhaps over the net. Tough to tell from our angle what happened, but either way, we're back underway. 2:45 to play in the first. 1-0 Penn State leads. Notre Dame on senior night in the green jerseys. Penn State in the same whites as last night. Nelson trying to get it up the boards to his brother. Now Henry will jailbreak the zone, get the red, get it deep. First one on, it's going to be Cole Knuble, go behind the net. Comes out to the circle, spins back, does a figure 8. Trying to cut to the middle, it does. He takes a shot, it goes wide, maybe off a body in front. Fleming will cycle it low for Ali. Ali up the near side, also cuts to the middle. Fleming had an attempt that went to the corner. Ali's onto it there, spins it low. Knuble trying to get to it, so is Fleming. It's taken away by the stick of Matt Godowski and played out to center where it's batted down by Mastrodomenico. Oh, it's mishandled. Fleming score! Maddox Fleming's got his second goal of the season. He took it away in the slot, and he beats Radler to the blocker side. Notre Dame has tied it at 1.
Well, this is all set up by an absolutely excellent shift by the first line. Looks like the officials want to review this maybe for offside, or...
I thought it was pretty clearly touched by Penn State.
Guy Gadowski there talking with one of the refs at the bench. Either way, you slice it. First line deserves the credit for that turnover at the blue line. Fleming, the beneficiary, he just walks right down the middle and beats Radler. Penn State not going to challenge for offside. It would have been whether Nico Jovanovic cleared the zone there, and it was tight. It was real close. Looks like this one's going to be good, and we've got a tie hockey game.
Yeah, no challenge coming. Certainly live it looked extremely close, but give credit to Jovanovic hustling out of the zone at the end of a shift, or I guess it was the beginning of the shift, but he hustled either way. And then Fleming for timing it perfectly to enter the zone and force the turnover. So Notre Dame ties it at 1. They've certainly played better after Penn State had all the momentum at the start. Reese, law back along the right wing, cross the red line. Wiebusch at the right point will play deep. Law back in the corner, shoved off by Kerr. Or excuse me, that's Jursev on the hit. And so he allows Notre Dame to escape the zone. Werner onto it, along the left circle, tries a shot that didn't miss by much. Mastrodomenico's shot is blocked, trying to battle it back. Penn State may have a 2-on-1, and they do. DeMarsico, left circle, he holds, save Kempf, rebound, save Kempf.
And Michael Mastrodomenico nearly did the exact same thing he did last night when he gave up the 3-on-1. This time it's a 2-on-1. He just doesn't give up on pucks at the blue line. When you're a defenseman and you step up, sometimes you got to give up. He tried to hold the line there 3 times. One probably would have done enough.
Tell you what, though, I know I'm hammering this. If you're going to have a 2-on-1, you had the right defenseman back there, and he played it perfectly, forced Penn State into taking not a great shot, and the other option was a wide-open net.
Yeah, it almost looked like DeMarsico wanted to pass the whole time, and they got in too close. Kempf, a good save, had to make the rebound one, too, as Danny Nelson fires one wide the other direction. Brennan Ali knocks the puck down along the left half wall, but it goes to the other side for Crespo. 40 seconds to play in what is quickly becoming a very eventful first period. Fisher back for it for Knuble, who will curl away on his forehand. Chip it to Nelson, back to Knuble, cuts to the middle. Knuble is checked, it comes to Ali. Radler had to make the save, and then Nelson is speared.
It's got to be at least 1 penalty on Penn State, if not 2 in that sequence, and Crespo's still shoving Brennan Ali. Nelson went down like he had his hand chopped off.
I wonder if that's a 5 for spearing. Could be 2 for slashing.
Do you think he got speared?
Ali skated right through the crease, and it looked like into the glove of Radler. Penn State took exception and just dropped Ali, who then was on the ground. Nelson was shoved from behind the play. He also fell down.
There's nothing on Brennan Ali there.
The play is under review for a major.
Wide of the post. Danny Nelson, I mean, maybe he comes in there late with a poke, but I don't know where that came out of.
I think what happened, guys, is after Radler makes the save, he didn't cover it confidently, so Nelson's perusing the top of the crease, hoping to find loose change. It's not there. And I think he accidentally bumped Radler, because Radler gave a whack at him, and then Jackson Smith gave a harder whack that sent Nelson down. That's what the penalty was. Danny Nelson at the Notre Dame bench, by the way, imitating what Jackson Smith did.
I mean, I was fairly confident there was going to be some scuffle after the play based on what Nelson did in skating through the crease.
So no major against Smith. He just gets 2 for a slash, which we watch it again. Yeah, didn't get him in the soft area, just got him on like the top of the pants.
Nelson went down really hard there for the heaviness of the slash. I'm not a fan of the whole, if you're near the goalie, I gotta whack you. I think that's an undisciplined play by Jackson Smith.
So he sits for 2, 25.5 in the period. Notre Dame 0 for 1 on the power play tonight, 0 for 3 this series. They win the draw. Werner at the Big Ten logo. Fisher, right point Knuble. Fisher will move to the middle, and he's got the puck. Fisher tries a shot pass that's broken up by Collins to the corner. Mazzotti over there, 12 seconds to play in the period. Right point, Knuble backdoor, Werner! It's in the crease, score! You draw the penalty, you bury the power play goal. Danny Nelson has made it 2-1.
Man, listen to this place. And I said it. I think that's an undisciplined penalty by Jackson Smith, and good for Notre Dame. They did not make Penn State pay last night on the 5-on-3 in the first period. They erased that mistake tonight. They've got a lead.
You weren't going to be able to keep Notre Dame's fourth-ranked national power play off the board for that long. That would have been a number of tries for Penn State, all keeping them off the board. Good job by Danny Nelson to put that one away.
Nelson on the power play, assisted by Evan Werner and Sutter Mazzotti. I believe that's going to be changed. I believe Cole Knuble should actually get the secondary assist on that one, but Notre Dame does not care. They score twice in the final 2 minutes of play, and they flip a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes of play. When we return, Jack Rinaldi on play-by-play for the second period for what should be a very exciting final 40 minutes. Thanks so much for tuning in for the first. Stay with us after intermission on WVFI.
the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Please join us now in the singing of America the Beautiful.
We're back with you here inside the Compton Family Ice Arena. Second period just about to get set between Penn State and Notre Dame with Charlie Morris and Ryan Murphy. I'm Jack Rinaldi. Guys, competitive period that Notre Dame flipped on its head in the final moments of that time. What are we expecting here in the second?
Yeah, it certainly was a competitive period, Jack, and we did not see Notre Dame start the same way that they started last night. It's a much better start by Penn State. Obviously, they got on the board first. They're playing the game in the middle of the rink, fast in transition like they want to, but Notre Dame slowly established themselves, Charlie, and they're up 2-1 after one.
Yeah, and, Notre Dame was definitely slow out of the gate, as you mentioned, but all season their Achilles heel, and it happened last night, we talked about it last night, is they seem to be worst in the last 2 minutes of every single period. And today they have 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of the first period, and it's the reason that they're winning 2-1. I'm not going to say they deserve to be winning. It was a pretty even period, but selfish penalty by Jackson Smith, and Danny Nelson converts on the power play, which, Jack, as you mentioned, was only a matter of time till that top-ranked unit, or nearly top-ranked unit, got on the board, and so Irish will take it, and they lead it 2-1. There's still plenty of time to go. They had a 3-1 lead after the first last night, couldn't secure the win. So
yeah, so the lead means nothing. We've established that.
Well, it's better than losing.
All right, Danny Nelson wins the face-off for Notre Dame. He's out there with Knuble and Ali, his normal line mates, Paul Fisher and Axel Kumlin, the top defensive pair out there for Notre Dame. Penn State dumps it all the way down into the Irish defensive zone. Sticks it around net. Knuble now into neutral ice. Tries to dump it past Fink, but keeps it in the offensive zone just below the blue line. Knuble loses it at the right circle. Now Gavin McKenna, brief touch. Penn State into the neutral zone. This is Fink dropping it off for McKenna. Outside the right circle. Great service near the crease. And Kempf right there to cover it up.
And I couldn't tell. Maybe Danny Nelson on the back check is McKenna with a perfect backhand saucer pass, but Nelson just got back, didn't allow Misa to get a good shot off, and Kempf was able to intercept and cover.
I like Luke Misa's game tonight. Calgary Flames draft pick, 5th rounder from 2024. He's been all around it feels like. He's been in close a couple times.
Battle for it after the face-off. Penn State comes away with it. This is Wiebusch behind the cage. Penn State shooting right to left from our vantage point. Again, the same vantage point you'd watch it on TV. Now Christensen up against the left half wall. Zips it around the boards. It ends up behind the net. Henry Nelson in a tangle with Wiebusch. Comes away with Penn State. This is DeMarsico outside the left circle. finding his teammate Lawback, who sends it over to the right point. Here's a shot that goes wide. It was a low driving chance from Nolan Collins. A long rebound comes Evan Werner's way, and he's into the offensive zone for Notre Dame. 3 Penn State defenders right there, and a pass ripped in front in the direction of Cole Brown. Evan Werner out of the tangle, fired a low pass in, but a good job by Radler to cover it.
Yeah, I think that play right there shows off the IQ that Sutter Mazzotti has. Nearly snuck that through on a no-look pass, knowing where his teammate is. He's good because he's big and he's skilled, but he's underratedly extremely smart.
Third line out there for Notre Dame, Pano-Femis, Carner Slaggert, and Dashel Oliver, with Jimmy Jursev and Michael Mastro-Domenico, the defenders. Taking the face-off, it is Oliver, and for Penn State, Ben Schoen. Penn State wins the face-off. They dump it out of the Notre Dame zone, knocked down with a high stick. Mastro-Domenico, and we'll have a face-off at neutral ice. Left near dot.
Penn State wants the face-off in the Notre Dame zone, and I think that's what's going to happen here because it was a touch by Notre Dame stick and in the zone, maybe? Is that right?
Yeah, and I just think if Mastro-Domenico doesn't stick his stick up like a lacrosse stick and lets that go, it might go for icing. But he gave it a good whack.
It's the human urge to whack something out of the air.
It's like a piñata.
Even when you know you shouldn't, you just...
All right, face-off from the left circle in Penn State's offensive zone. Pano-Femis wins it. He was going up against Aiden Fink, the alternate captain for Penn State. Pano-Femis now in neutral ice with 2 offensive players with him. He turned it over. Notre Dame has it back over to Carter Slaggert, far side. Slaggert dumps it across the blue line into the Penn State zone. Notre Dame will go for a change, although Oliver's there on the forecheck. Femis now outside the left circle. Tries to wind it around. Nice defensive play by Penn State. Femis keeps it in. His pass is deflected and ends up in the far right corner with Carter Slaggert. He battles for it with Crespo. Crespo wins. Slaggert, tried to fire a pass into the middle and it was deflected. Dashel Oliver would have had a great look on the redirect if he could get a stick on it. Comes back to Slaggert, still in Notre Dame offensive zone. Slaggert skating around. He'll wind it around the boards. Femis behind net tried the turnaround chance with the backhand, and it was sent away by Radler. Penn State still can't clear. Long shift for both teams. Jovanovic, the senior, now chasing for Notre Dame. Penn State finally clears the zone, and it's only as far as a Notre Dame defenseman. That's Mastro-Domenico. Bell now at neutral ice. He lost it. Penn State and Fink will skate the other way. Van Olm dumping it into the Notre Dame zone. No icing. He was across center ice. Henry Nelson now up ahead. Will Bell up against his own bench. And Jovanovic sticks it into the Penn State zone. Nittany Lions trying to develop something offensively. They turn it over again. Henry Nelson sends it quickly back the other way. And this puck sent below the Penn State goal line. Radler there to stick it away. Nittany Lions try to go up ahead. Big check along the Notre Dame bench. Delivering the hit was Henry Nelson. Penn State, though, comes away with it, and they nearly had a breakaway chance. They had Christensen all alone. Still have it in the Notre Dame defensive zone. Would have been a phenomenal chance for Ford. Ali now sticking it into the Penn State zone. And now Penn State ices the puck as Kempf gets a touch on it.
So you're wondering why, out of seemingly nowhere, Penn State nearly had a breakaway. Notre Dame had 3 players on the ice, and all 3 were forwards. They did not have either defenseman on the ice. And that's a problem when you don't have a defensive pair on the ice. It's not just like a missed change. They had 2 defense. They had 7 defensemen on the bench because they're dressing 7 tonight. They see the breakaway nearly happen and they go, let me get 2 guys out there.
Ali tripped up after Danny Nelson wins the faceoff. First line out there for Notre Dame. They're battling for it in the far right corner. Puck's trapped up against the wall. Bodies hitting the floor, still up against the wall. Nelson eventually comes away with it for Notre Dame. He winds it around the boards. Now near right corner, Penn State tries to clear, and they do. This is Braden Ford up ahead, but he tipped it into the bench. So we'll get a neutral ice faceoff.
I think it may have rode up the dasher over the glass somehow. You don't see that type of bounce normally, but they'll allow Penn State to make a change. But I believe an offensive zone draw coming.
Offensive zone faceoff for Notre Dame. They determined it went over the boards before the blue line. Second referee came in and made that judgment.
Yep.
Second line of forwards out there for Notre Dame with their top defensive pair, Fisher and Kumlin. Right dot faceoff won by Penn State and Braden Ford. Nittany Lions skate the other way. They try a stretch pass here to Amon, who tries to chase it down and cannot. Hand comes up for icing. Paul Fisher, the first to it for Notre Dame.
It's odd. Amon, the defenseman out there, stepping up to try to negate the icing. You don't see that very often. And the linesmen huddling up with the refs right now to see whether they want to pull this out to center ice, and they will. We saw some struggles on the icing calls last night too, Charlie. I know you weren't too happy about it.
Yeah, but I think they got this one right. That should not have been icing, and the Penn State bench is going to give and the fans right on the glass are going to give a sarcastic applause. And
lots of Penn State fans in the house.
You wouldn't have seen that 2 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't used to travel so well before going to the national championship last year and then signing a guy named Gavin McKenna.
Notre Dame won that center ice faceoff, and they dump it into Penn State zone. Nittany Lions have it back quickly, though, just shy of neutral ice. Try to stick it away. Turnover. Cole Brown. He couldn't finish. Good stick by Radler to poke it away. Now Gavin McKenna near center ice. Christensen with Brown on him. Christensen flings it in front of the net. And Kempf there to deflect it away. There's Misa there in the far right corner. Gavin McKenna comes away with a puck. Left point. McKenna now into the high slot. Drops it back. Nobody home. Aiden Fink eventually. He skates to the right point. Now another right point shot saved by Kempf. Right into his chest was the shot from Crespo, the defenseman.
Yeah, Kempf certainly made that save look harder than it had to be.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fair statement, but gets it into the breadbasket eventually. No rebound, and McKenna, you could see the skill level on display when he has the puck, but he hasn't done anything eye-popping in this game. He had a couple nice passes last night, a couple more tonight, but I would like to see more out of him if I were a Penn State fan here tonight.
Notre Dame's done a good job locking him up, but you could see that killer instinct in him. Like, that was that assist on the first goal. He when the play opens up, he strikes.
Themis and Law back from the right circle. Themis wins the faceoff to Jaden Kerr, who's dragged down. And the puck out to Carter Slaggert, who skates through neutral ice. 3-on-3 for Notre Dame. He goes for Themis in the far left corner. Notre Dame again shooting left to right from our vantage point. Slaggert tried to fling it in front of net. He couldn't. Kept in by Henry Nelson. And now a turnover for Notre Dame near the blue line. Penn State, though, dumps it to the opposite blue line. And Henry Nelson gets it into the Penn State zone where the Nittany Lions try to collect. Crowd wants a penalty. They're not going to get it. Big hit up against the glass. Sends a Penn State skater to the floor and will get a whistle.
It's Matt DeMarsico. And I didn't think it was anything particularly malicious from Pano Themis.
Maybe got him up high, Murph? Uh-oh.
And they're immediately going to review here. DeMarsico seems to be favoring that right leg, so it's the left leg that's sort of shaking the bees out of the boot.
Master Domenico having a chat with the referee, trying to figure out what the review is here for. Themis already in the box, and they'll check to see if he'll be in there for 2 minutes or 5 minutes.
I think it's just an awkward check. I mean, he releases the puck and then gets hit, but it's not so late that it's malicious seeming. I'm looking at it at the very small monitor, very far away from us right now, so that's about as much analysis as I can give you.
Yeah, having worked video board shows for Notre Dame Athletics before, they were, of course, not put this one on the video board because it is a Notre Dame penalty. But I think the review here, guys, I don't think it's about malice. I think it's about first point of contact. Is it the head? Is it something else?
Well, I think the fact that he's favoring the leg would tell you that what made him go down was not that he was hit up high, Now, was he hit up high is the question that we're going to get the answer to right now.
Call coming right here.
Kneeing?
What?
So 2 minutes there for kneeing. You hear my partner's reaction to the call.
Yeah, so when you call a penalty, you can't review it and then determine that there's no penalty.
You can.
You can.
Are
On
you
an
sure?
official's review,
we ran
you
into
can.
this.
Yes.
We ran into this last weekend at Michigan State. You can, and they so rarely do, and it's quite frustrating.
They so rarely do that I thought you could only either call a 2 or a 5. But I stand corrected. Thank you to my very knowledgeable partners. 2 straight nights.
I didn't know it last weekend. I did not know
2
it
straight
last
nights
weekend.
you guys have corrected me about a college hockey technicality, so I'm going to have to go back to the rule book, I think, after this matchup.
All right, 14:51 second period. Notre Dame leading 2-1. Penn State on the power play. Gavin McKenna back for Jackson Smith at the right point. Gavin McKenna has it now back, same spot. Now it goes to Fink, left point. Fink near the left circle, fires it in low. Nice pass, and it eventually caroms out to McKenna on the right point. Now Smith in the high slot. He fires a shot. It was deflected wide. Paul Fisher comes away with it for Notre Dame and clears it off the glass.
I think that shot from Smith hit his own man, DeMarsico, so good to see him all right after taking that hit. Almost flopped enough to draw the major.
All the way back to Radler, 14-14 to go here in the second period. Penn State still can't hold it in the zone. It's cleared by Notre Dame. Gavin McKenna eventually tracks it down for Penn State. Sutter Muzzati chasing for the Irish. Here's Aiden Fink along the half wall right side. Good keep in by Penn State after it was tipped away by Henry Nelson. Now Jaden Kerr has the puck. He clears it out of the zone. Notre Dame doing a nice job early on the kill. Jackson Smith up ahead now for his teammate DeMarsico. DeMarsico dragged down and bounced off the Notre Dame bench. Sutter Muzzati 2-on-1 with Knuble. Muzzati lost it briefly. Now behind the cage. Knuble! What a save by Radler. Sent it wide with the pad. 13:36 to go, second period. 42 seconds on the Penn State power play. Notre Dame, great chance there. Carter Slaggert nearly took it away and did. But now Axel Kumlin turns it over to Gavin McKenna. McKenna on the charge, dropping it back. Fink sent it wide. And Slaggert there for the rebound. 1-on-2, Slaggert into the offensive zone. Slaggert has the puck tipped away. Will Bell skates out of the offensive zone and into neutral ice and will dump the puck down as Notre Dame goes for a change. 15 seconds on the Penn State power play. Boy, has this been a good kill for Notre Dame. Here's Gutkowski now skating with it for Penn State. Under 10 seconds on the power play. Luke Misa now up ahead into the zone, and again it is cleared by Notre Dame all the way back to Radler, and out of the box comes Pano Femis, and onto the ice comes Danny Nelson.
That's a brilliant penalty kill, 2 for 2 now in the game, and both kills have been very good.
Penn State with it here, puck deflected across from Kempf, now through the crease the other way. It's Lawback on the near side. Lawback tried to send one in close. Danny Nelson has it for Notre Dame after there was a tangle for it. Notre Dame still can't clear up against the half wall. Battle for it, Ali and Gutkowski. Notre Dame does come away with it. Cole Knuble trying to chase, and he did not get there. And Notre Dame has it now in their own defensive zone after it was sticked away by a Penn State player. Now Brennan Ali catches it in front of his own bench on the far side. Ali gets it back left circle, turns it over though. Penn State now with possession, although they turn it over. Paul Fisher bounces it off the half wall for Will Bell. Bell carries it across neutral ice and gives it away. Penn State reciprocates. Notre Dame trying to stretch pass up ahead. No icing. And the puck loose at neutral ice. Master Domenico comes away with it for Notre Dame. Goes left side for Maddox Fleming. Matt Gutkowski tracks it down for Penn State. Notre Dame holds it in. Fleming fanned on the shot. He may have had the one-timer on the turnaround. Now Van Olm has it for Penn State up ahead. He couldn't corral it. Still trying to hold it in his offensive zone, though. Jaden Kerr gets away with the puck for Notre Dame. Kerr maneuvering his way through center ice. Clears the puck. Penn State dumps it right back into the Notre Dame zone and chases. Mastro Domenico from behind his own net sticks it over to Kerr. Now Mastro Domenico has it back right side. Left side, it's Jovanovic. Jovanovic up ahead for Muzzati. He dumps it below the goal line, Jovanovic. Muzzati still holding up against the wall. Finds Werner. Werner into the slot. Werner for Kumlin. Shot save. Radler was right there with the chest, and Notre Dame continuing to apply pressure here in this second period. First TV timeout. Notre Dame leading Penn State 2-1 with 10:54 to go in the period.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and join us in honoring America with the playing of our national anthem. Conducted by Dr. Ken Dye, Director of Bands at the University of Notre Dame.
Second about halfway done from inside the Compton Family Ice Arena. Notre Dame ahead of Penn State 2-1 with 10:54 remaining in the frame. Shots tonight, Penn State 11, Notre Dame 10. We'll begin this sequence of action with Sutter Mazzotti at the right offensive circle for Notre Dame, taking a face-off with Penn State's Reese Lawback. Second attacking line out there for Notre Dame, Cole Brown, Evan Werner, and Mazzotti with the top defensive pairing, Fisher and Kumlin. Mazzotti wins the face-off. Two seniors out there on senior night for Notre Dame with Mazzotti and Kumlin. Penn State sticks it out of the Notre Dame zone. They'll skate the other direction. Lawback now, carrying it against the half wall. Scoops it below the goal line. Now Mazzotti has it for Notre Dame after a Penn State turnover. He'll skate the other way and fire one off of the boards. They'll call icing here, much to the dismay of this pro Notre Dame crowd here in South Bend.
And Notre Dame themselves. I think the bench was making the loudest noise there.
Well, I'm not sure what Mazzotti saw because he had space in front of him, and I guess he's going for a stretch pass off the end wall to a cutting teammate, but that play just wasn't there. Two more strides and he's at the red line at the very least.
Misa and Mazzotti from the left offensive circle for Penn State. Mazzotti wins the faceoff, and Axel Kumlin clears for Notre Dame. Only as far as Crespo for Penn State, who sends it right back into the Nittany Lion offensive zone. Kempf wheels it around the boards. McKenna has it in the far right corner. He's checked up against the glass by Mazzotti. Now Crespo, one-timer from the right point that Kempf is all over and covers.
Yeah, good job by Nick not to allow a rebound there. That's one where he sees the shot all the way. The ice in front of him is clear. Just don't allow a rebound and you got no problems.
10-12 to go in the second period. Again, a face-off from the left circle in the Penn State offensive zone. Misa will take it again for the Nittany Lions. It's the captain, Danny Nelson, up against him for Notre Dame. Nelson wins the faceoff. Notre Dame continuing their faceoff success this weekend. Jaden Kerr has it for Notre Dame, now off for Danny's brother Henry. Henry Nelson up to brother Danny. Danny through neutral ice. Danny hard charging the net, and it was sticked away. Good play by the Penn State defenseman. Crespo now trying to come the other way for Penn State. Puck comes way up in the air. Physical battle for it on the half wall, taken away by Cole Knuble in the Penn State offensive zone. Knuble cannot clear, though. Gavin McKenna has it for the Nittany Lions. Dumps it behind the cage. In a tangle are Henry Nelson and Aiden Fink. And Jaden Kerr skates away with the puck for Notre Dame. Kerr bounces it off the wall. This is going to be icing if Penn State gets a touch, and they do. So with 9:28 to go here in the second period, Penn State will have another offensive zone faceoff from the left circle.
And I like the aggressiveness of Danny Nelson trying to take it to the cage on his off wing, try to one-handed backhand shot with bodies heading towards the net. You never know what could happen. Well defended by the Nittany Lions, and Kerr ices it, so that line will be stuck out there. Penn State fresh bodies.
Nelson and Lawback. Nelson won the faceoff up to Knuble. Knuble through neutral ice, now charging a net. Ali, good save by Radler. Knuble off the rebound, sent it wide. And somebody's missing a stick now as Penn State skates the other way. DeMarsico across the blue line. It's Wiebusch, but we'll get an offside call. Hectic turn of action there. Notre Dame had an excellent chance with Cole Knuble off the Ali rebound.
Yeah, and it's another example of Penn State's defensive gaps not being amazing. I believe it was Godowski, maybe Crespo, sucked a little too close to the middle. So Knuble able to go to his left to Ali, who has a partial breakaway and a good stop for Radler. And then Jack, as you mentioned, lost his stick, but no harm, no worse.
Near left dot, neutral ice faceoff won by Notre Dame. They dump it into the Penn State zone, no icing. And no need for a change with a fresh line out there for Notre Dame. As Penn State now reciprocates and dumps it into the Irish zone. This one will be icing, though, so Notre Dame will have an offensive zone faceoff. 8:55 to go here in the second period. Notre Dame still 2, Penn State 1.
The lifesaver on that last Notre Dame chance for Penn State was Cade Christensen. He had the kind of whack on the puck. Bad gap by both him and Godowski. Bad gap. They created the chance, but he bailed him out in the end.
Pano Femus with Reese Lawback from the right circle in the Notre Dame zone. Femus wins the faceoff, but he went early, and will do it again.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that point, Ryan, it was on the rebound, I assume you're talking about.
Yes, on the rebound.
Where
off Radler's pad, right.
Knuble dishes it to Ali and then gets it off the pad of Radler and has a good look, but Christensen with the defensive play.
Themis wins this face-off too. Dashel Oliver now from the goal line tried a centering pass. It was blocked. Jursev now sticks it back below the goal line.
Wow, out of all
And a whistle from behind the play. We'll get a slash on Notre Dame.
I think it's going against Penn State here as Jursev kind of threw it to the net. DeMarsico is going to sit for 2, and for all the penalties they could have called, I would not be happy about that one if I was a Nittany Lion fan.
They're definitely letting him play, but I think the difference here is that Jursev ends up without the stick, right?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think the stick gets slashed out of his hands, and that's the difference typically when a guy. And I always hate that. Sometimes it's cheap. Sometimes you're not holding on to the stick very hard. It just drops.
But the Slaggert one earlier was not a vicious slash either, but he knocked
Right.
the stick out of Jackson Smith's hand. So
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
it broke his stick.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right, so DeMarsico in the box for Penn State. Another power play chance for the nation's 4th-ranked unit and Notre Dame. They scored on their last try. That's how they lead it 2-1 with 8:38 to go here in the second period. 150 on the power play as Fisher skates out from behind his own net. Fisher through neutral ice, 1-on-3. Now a half rush for Notre Dame. Here's Knuble with Nelson bouncing it off the wall. Werner in a tangle below the goal line, and Penn State able to clear. Nick Kempf at a net to touch it for Notre Dame. He'll leave it for Fisher. 1:30 on the power play, 8:15 to go in the period. Shots even at 12. Notre Dame leading Penn State 2-1. Paul Fisher dropping it back for Danny Nelson. Nelson across the Notre Dame monogram at center ice. Nelson leaves it for Mazzotti along the left half wall. Winds it around for Knuble behind net. Now it's Werner at the right point. Werner, Fisher in the high slot. Maneuvers left point. Fisher back for Knuble at the right point. Setting things up, Paul Fisher. Still the left point, high slot now Knuble. Danny Nelson faked the shot. He had a great chance. It was a nice pass. Werner has the rebound. Paul Fisher in the high slot. Danny Nelson now same place. Right point Knuble dropping it low for Mazzotti. Nelson fanned on the one-timer. Second shot was blocked. Still held in by Notre Dame. 7.5 to go in the period. Danny Nelson in front. Had it sticked away. Paul Fisher holds just in front of the blue line. Danny Nelson now, high slot. Paul Fisher left point. Paul Fisher tried to rip one in front. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Penn State still can't clear. Now they do. Paul Fisher along the left side, up ahead for Werner. Werner across the blue line, 1-on-4. Werner's taken down, lost the puck. And it comes all the way back to Nicholas Kempf in the Irish defensive zone. 15 seconds on the power play as we tick below 7 minutes in the period. Notre Dame does not have a shot on the power play. Trying to change that with the second unit. Cole Brown lost the puck. Can Penn State clear here? And they do with numbers. Gavin McKenna skates the other way. One-on-one with Kumlin at the right point. McKenna dangling into the slot, tried to rip one in front. And good defense. Now second chance for Penn State. And they score! Cade Christensen as the power play expires. And Penn State ties the game at 2. 6:38 to go here in the second period.
Yeah, well, it's Aiden Fink coming in across the line there on a 3-on-2. He cuts way wide away from the play, gets lost, unable to pick it up as he skates by the net, but is able to pick up the rebound off the initial chance, throw it back in front, and Christensen cleans it up. But he just gets lost, and that's why he's able to set that play up.
Yeah, I believe it was the second effort as Christensen initially stopped by Kemp from a grade A spot on the ice, but he gets his own rebound and puts it home to tie the game.
6:34 to go here in the second period. First goal of the weekend for Caden Christensen. Bounce up against the half wall by Notre Dame as they briefly had it in the Penn State offensive zone. Now the puck's at neutral ice. Carter Slaggert has to bounce it away, cannot. Now it's Jaden Kerr maneuvering his way into neutral ice. And dumping it into the Penn State zone. Pano-Themis there for Notre Dame below the goal line. Pano-Themis in the near right corner, battling up against the wall. His teammate Dashel Oliver there with him. Still up against the wall. And now Oliver comes away with it. Behind the cage, it's Slaggert. Slaggert looking. And a good defensive shift here from Penn State, but Pano-Themis has it below the net. Pano-Themis now skates out. Centering pass for Henry Nelson. Nelson shot from the left point. Knocked down by Radler and covered.
Pano-Themis, the guy who's really settled in nicely. That was a really talented backhand saucer pass across the zone. Yeah, he's settled in nicely to college hockey after a rough start. 5 goals, 14 points on the year.
So this will be our second break of the second period. 5:46 to go. Notre Dame 2, Penn State 2. You're listening to WVFI, the voice of the Fighting Irish. They'll take an offensive zone face-off from the left circle. They'll let Maddox Fleming take it here up against Ben Schoen for the Nittany Lions. Schoen wins it for Penn State, and now Van Olm quickly the other way, tried to go up ahead for teammate Wiebusch, and Notre Dame takes the puck away at neutral ice, although Penn State possesses now in their own zone. Nolan Collins up ahead. This is Schoen now with a teammate, and a shot goes just wide here. Now Jovanovic tries to skate the other way for Notre Dame. Big cheering section here for the senior tonight. Heard that when he was honored in the pregame ceremony as Penn State holds in their own zone with Gavin McKenna. Up ahead, Van Olm turned it over. Will Bell sends the shot wide. Nearly an identical goal to the one he had last night. Penn State still can't clear. Now they do. This will be icing if Notre Dame gets a touch below the line. The puck does not go that far. Axel Kumlin over to Mastro Domenico on the left side. Now comes back to the right side. Finds Ali along the left side. Ali past his own bench with Knubel and Nelson. Ali lost the puck. Penn State tries to clear, and they do. Mastro Domenico should be there for Notre Dame. And he is with Axel Kumlin. Mastro Domenico off the wall. Ali. Now Knubel tries to get it across the blue line. Tripped up and lost the puck, but Mastro Domenico again behind the play for Notre Dame. Ali up against his own bench, wheels it around the boards. Raidler out of net to grab it behind. Jackson Smith there for Penn State. First round draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ali now with the puck for Notre Dame in front of his own bench. Nelson skates away. Here's Nelson, hard charging the net. He's dragged down, and a save barreling in. No goal. Big collision in front of the net, and now a lot of extracurriculars. Punches thrown, shoves exchanged, and Raidler holding the puck on the ground. Nelson was brought down as he attacked the cage there, and Raidler did a nice job to keep it out with 4:02 to go in the second period.
Now, I think they're going to take a look at this. We saw this earlier this season. I forget exactly which weekend it was, perhaps Wisconsin, but Notre Dame was awarded a goal after further review, which they're going to go to review now because the puck did go into the net. Nelson collided with Raidler, but Nelson was also tripped, so you could say that because the Penn State defender tripped him down and the puck ended up in the net, Jack, this could be a goal for Danny Nelson, his second of the game.
It would be his second of the game, and it would be a big one for Notre Dame to break this second period tie. They're playing it on the big screen here, which, like we mentioned earlier, always a good sign. Nelson is definitely tripped up, fires it low into Raidler, and then skates into Raidler, or slides, I should say, rather.
He's on his back.
Causing Raidler to lose the puck into his own net.
And you saw hands go up right away from a couple of the Irish players who, you know, it's obviously instinctual. You see the puck in the net, you put your hands up. But, again, it happened earlier this season.
I couldn't see the puck go in the net from down
here. I didn't either, but
the
fact that when they put their hands up, I knew it had gone in. And then after all the pushing and shoving was sorted out, I did see Raidler remove it from the net. So
Again,
it's 100% cross the line.
Regardless of whether this is a goal or not, I love that drive from Danny Nelson. That's the way he's got to play if he wants to play professional hockey after this. Use
Hopefully
his
not
body
next
drive
year,
to the net. Oh, yeah, hopefully not next year if you're Notre Dame. But that's the way he's got to play.
Worth noting here, call on the ice was no goal, so we need clear and conclusive evidence to overturn that in replay. And the call coming right here. It's our official Colin Cronforst. Hear it there, no goal for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't think you can call that a goal, even if the reason the puck goes in the net is because that collision happens. It's not going in the net anyways, and then the collision happens. Well, that was the case with the Wisconsin goal. The goal didn't happen because the collision was sort of a sideshow, I guess, if you will. This would have been the determining factor for the puck going in the net was the collision with the goaltender. Even if it wasn't intentional by Danny, I think that's probably the right call.
Well, and the other thing here, and the explanation that our official gave us, is that they confirmed over review that Radler had possession of the puck and the whistle should have blown, which is another reason why it was, in fact, no goal.
Danny Nelson wins the offensive zone faceoff. Knuble fires. It's knocked down in front of the net. Now Ali, his shot blocked as well. Penn State trying to clear, and they do. Skating the other way is Chin DeGraves into his offensive zone. Nice move to get around Kerr. Flicks it in front, and a nice job by Nick Kempf to steer it away as the net comes off of its pilings. Kempf is on the ground with a Penn State player still on top of him. Knuble trying to get at him. Ford drags Knuble out of the way as Kempf is still down on the ground. And now all kinds of little tangles around Nicholas Kempf. The net is well off of its stanchions all the way back up against the glass. Knuble now grabs Lev Katzen and drags him out of the way. And Kempf is still down on the ground. Finally now just getting up is the sophomore goalkeeper, and he is not happy.
I think he just tried to break the stick of Katzen, who ran into the crease, and Katzen is absolutely livid right now, pointing a finger at one of the Notre Dame players, presumably the one chatting back to him, Jaden Kerr. And, you know, anytime somebody runs over the goalie, whether or not it's their fault per se, it's going to cause something like this, and especially just minutes after it happened on the other end.
Well, we saw a similar play last week on Thursday night at Michigan State in which Kempf had to leave the game with an injury. He looks to be fine here, but he'll need a new helmet as they'll take a look at it on the bench.
Yeah, Kempf did get up, and he just used his hand to snap the twig of Katzen. Did it look like a late shove by Danny Nelson to you? Because that's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like...
I didn't see it, to be honest, Ryan, so I trust your judgment on this one.
It didn't look like Braden Ford. Braden Ford was going hard to the net, but I think Nelson was right behind him, and Kempf is getting a long speaking to here by the referee.
Yeah, I wonder if he isn't complaining. But
it seemed like the ref was doing most of the talking.
Okay, fair enough.
The ref holding Kempf's stick as they look for a replacement helmet for the Irish netminder. Back behind the bench doing that now. Kempf, a draft pick of the Washington Capitals. He's started 30 games this season for Notre Dame. This the 31st. .894 save percentage. 3.5 just about goals allowed a game. He's faced 15 shots tonight and saved 13 with 3:45 to go here in the second period.
Yeah, and those 15 shots mark one of the lightest workloads he's had to face in a game yet this year, is indicative. You know, I would say when you have an .894 save percentage, you should, give or take, expect like a 3.1 goals against average if your team allows an average number of shots per game. But, of course, Notre Dame, one thing that has changed from last year to this year with the new coaching staff is their offense is way more dynamic. It's way better. But their defensive structure and play is definitely taking a step back. And
work in progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's more fun to watch for the average fan, but, you know, it's safe to say that Notre Dame, the reason that they are where they are this year coming into tonight's action, 6-22-5, 2-17-2 in the Big Ten, is large part due to their inability to keep the puck out of the net.
It's been good tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's been impressive. And really all weekend,
Even-
after the game, you go back and look at the shot charts, and they did a great job of keeping Penn State out of the middle of the ice as we look like we have Kemp's helmet here.
Finally, the replacement helmet for Nick Kemp. Took a while to fix it.
Yeah, it looked like more than just a broken strap. Maybe the back fully come off. Looks like one of the straps is still loose, which is
Usually doesn't take
cause
that
for
long.
concern. Yeah, I'm
Bolts it on now, and he's ready to go. It's going to be an offensive zone face-off for Lawback against the top-line center, Danny Nelson, for Notre Dame. Lawback wins. Quick shot from Penn State looking to test Kemp. It goes wide. Now Ali up against the boards. Fisher skates away. Fisher now lost the puck briefly. Penn State has it. Lawback up against his own bench. And Kumlin took it away. Kumlin holding in his own zone off the skate of Ali and back below his own goal line. Now Paul Fisher, draft pick of the Edmonton Oilers. Up ahead to teammate Knuble. Knuble lost it and all the way back into the Notre Dame zone. Ali goes through the legs of Lawback, and now Danny Nelson, 1-on-3 the other way, waits for numbers and flicks one on goal. Radler throws it out to his right. And Penn State, with under 3 minutes to go in the period now, will skate the other way. This is Shea dumping it below the goal line. Master Domenico there for Notre Dame. Backhands it up against the boards. Up ahead, this is Cole Brown with Evan Werner. 2-on-2 for Notre Dame. Cole Brown off the skate of Werner. May have had a look if it was a better pass. Mazzotti up against the glass. Now Werner skates away. Werner for Jursev. Jursev skating in. What a save! Rebound! It does not go! What a job by Radler to keep it out of the net. Now outside of the right circle. Puck's flicked up in the air. Master Domenico there at neutral ice for Notre Dame. Fink chasing, drags down Master Domenico. And that's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, they're both going to go.
Yep, Master's going to go for a dive here, and Fink's going to go for the hook.
How do you call a dive?
I don't. I mean, he went down hard, and players have been. No, they both get holds. Okay, that makes more sense.
Interesting.
That
Two
makes
holds
more
there.
sense.
It was a physical battle for the puck, and we'll skate 4-on-4 for 2 of the final 2 minutes and 18 seconds of the period.
Cole Brown just can't buy a goal right now, it feels like.
Master Domenico has 2 hands on his stick. How could he possibly have committed a hold?
Yep, we've seen a lot of the dual penalty, like both players are holding each other that haven't been called throughout this series. That seems like a strange one to call, I will say, Charlie, but no harm, no foul ultimately.
Penn State scored at 4-on-4 last night.
Offensive zone face-off to begin the 4-on-4 period. Danny Nelson wins it against his number 11 counterpart, Luke Misa. Now Cole Knuble holding for Notre Dame. Knuble into neutral ice off the skate of Fisher. Fisher up ahead, Knuble. Lost it briefly. Notre Dame still has it in the offensive zone. Knuble up against the wall, finds Nelson, comes away with it below the goal line. Nelson tried to flick it in front for Fisher. Fisher comes away. Knuble now, great look. Knuble couldn't get a stick on it. Oh, he had an open net if he got a shot off. But a great play by the Penn State defenseman to keep it out of the net.
Just
now the Nittany Lions skate the other way. It's chin to Graves. Scratch that. Misa up top. Kempf knocks it down. And Knuble skates out from behind his own net. Still 4-on-4 here. Minute 30 to go in the period. Knuble, left point. Knuble maneuvering in low slot. Lost the puck. Now behind his own net. Knuble loses the puck outside the blue line and into neutral ice. So Danny Nelson's going to touch this. It'll be offsides on Notre Dame. And we'll have a face-off from the right near dot.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it, Murph, but just to reiterate, Knuble, either he thought too hard about it or he was so shocked that he had the puck in front of the net wide open.
He tries
to go forehand, backhand, forehand. It rolls off his stick and a glorious chance to the wayside.
Ben Schoen wins the face-off up against Brennan Ali. And now a tangle for it in front of the Penn State bench, taken away by Notre Dame in the offensive zone. Paul Fisher now from the left circle. Fisher shoots, and it's blocked wide. Jursev holds for Notre Dame at neutral ice. 57 seconds to go here in the second period. Jursev skating through neutral ice, lost the puck. Penn State has it now. This is Gutkowski dropping it back for his teammate Carter Shade. Notre Dame still chasing in the offensive zone. They have it below the goal line. Taken away by Gutkowski. Tried to ring it off the boards for Schoen. Jursev up against the wall. Now Gutkowski shoots. Saved by Kempf. Rebound still loose. Knocked away by Kempf. And we'll get a whistle as the goal again comes off its pilings. Second big collision in front of Nicholas Kempf in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, Jimmy Jursev steps up and falls here on the right side, and that creates a 2-on-1 in the zone for Penn State. Paul Fisher did a great job of taking out the Penn State line coming down the right side after Godowski took the shot. He's also the defenseman back there on the 2-on-1.
Wow.
Did a good job to take away the pass to Wiebusch, and then, he bumps Wiebusch into the net. That knocks the net off the moorings, but he was the most dangerous player there because he was hanging out while that rebound was loose in the crease.
Yeah, I think Fisher did more than take the pass away. He took the stick away of Wiebusch as the puck was sitting in the blue paint behind Kemp's butt. Tap-in goal, if not for Paul Fisher's unbelievable stick.
10 seconds more of 4-on-4. Penn State wins the offensive zone faceoff with Crespo. Penn State holding with Smith in the far corner. Big collision with Nelson, who hits the floor. And Jursev comes away with the puck. Jursev clears beyond the blue line. 11 seconds left in the period. Fink up ahead. Fink and a whistle. Maybe an offsides call here, guys? Yep, offsides on Penn State. So neutral ice faceoff with 7.6 seconds to go in the period. We're back to 5-on-5 officially. 5 out there for Notre Dame. Slaggert, Nelson, Jursev, who skates off. Cole Brown and Sutter Mazzotti. Axel Kumlin onto the ice for Jursev. Mazzotti and Lawback from the left near dot after the offsides call on Penn State. Mazzotti wins the face-off back for Nelson. 5 seconds left. Nelson dumps it into the Penn State zone. Mazzotti chasing in front. Puck is still loose, and that is how the period expires.
Compton bounce if I've ever seen one there off the end wall.
Yeah, it's Mazzotti had when you're taking a draw near your own blue line with 7 seconds left, you're not probably thinking offense, but almost got a goal out of it.
Very nearly. So, guys, what did you make of what you saw there at the end of that period?
Well, we saw tempers flare a little bit last night, but it seems like it's ratcheted up even more. Typically happens when the goalies get involved in the physical play. Tempers flare a little bit. So it'll be interesting what we get here in the third. Some extended conversation by both captains with the referees. But a well-played period. And, this series has been neck and neck all the way through, and I think it's only appropriate that it's going to go to the third time.
Yeah, 100%. And you actually just said probably what I was thinking about saying, which is that this game absolutely deserves to be tied after 2 periods of play and sets up for a wonderful finish in the last 20 minutes.
Yes, it does. We'll have all the action for you right here on WVFI. Tie score at 2, tied shots at 17. Notre Dame and Penn State. More coming up next on WVFI, the voice of the Fighting Irish.
We conclude our show by inviting back the Spartan Marching Band to join us for our musical finale to West Side Story. This collaboration is inspired by a performance in 1986 at the rededication and centennial celebration of the Statue of Liberty. Among those leading that performance were Director of the Spartan Marching Band, John Madden, and Notre Dame's Director of Bands, Dr. Ken Dye. Here is the beautiful and powerful ballad, Somewhere.
3 minutes to here at Compton Family Ice Arena. Want to give you a quick out-of-town score update from around college hockey. They're just about to get going up at Michigan State against Ohio State. In the CCHA, it's 3-2. Michigan Tech leading number 19, Bowling Green. In the ECAC, Clarkson and Cornell scoreless after one. Harvard and Quinnipiac scoreless also after one. Princeton up 1-0 late in the first at Dartmouth in the tennis ball game. In Hockey East, Northeastern up 1-0 on Maine after one. The Battle of Com Ave 1-1 between Boston University and Boston College. UMass up 1-0 on UConn. And in the NCHC, the Spencer Penrose Trophy champions, North Dakota, and the defending national champions, Western Michigan, tied 2-2 after two. That's also our score here at Compton Family Ice Arena. We'll be back with the third in just a minute. You're listening to Notre Dame Hockey on the voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Notre is over, and we are ready to go for the final period of regular season action here at Compton Family Ice Arena for the 2025-2026 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And it's been a good one so far. They're tied 2-2 with number 5 Penn State after two periods. As we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth, Ryan Murphy, Charlie Morris, Jack Rinaldi here on senior night. Guys, it's been a tight series all the way through, and we expect the same for these last 20 minutes.
We absolutely do. It's been a hotly contested game tonight. Tensions running high. We've had a couple of scuffles after the play, after the whistle. Nick Kempf involved in a couple of those for Notre Dame, and just looking forward to a clean final period here, which the Irish are going to have to play if they want to win this game. Got to stay out of the box.
Yeah, and I would expect staying out of the box to not be as hard as you think. I think the refs have called very consistently throughout the weekend. They're not looking to call penalties, and in the third period of a tie game, I would expect them to continue to swallow the whistles. But you can't do anything terribly stupid. They're gonna call it if they see it and they believe that it's warrants the power play. You don't want to put Penn State on the man advantage, despite the Nittany Lions being 0 for 2 tonight. It's only a matter of time, it feels like, for them this weekend on the power play. And so, Murph, you got the third period here. It's 2-2, 17-17 shots, and it doesn't get much better than this for the last home game.
Top line's out there for the start of the third. Irish are skating right to left across your radio. Penn State left to right as we're underway for the final frame as Paul Fisher takes it back behind his own goal. It's going to be wrapped all the way around and down ice. Icing called against Notre Dame here early. Irish wearing those green jerseys. They're 8-6-3 all time in the green unis. Haven't won since 2023. Ohio State in the shootout. Haven't won in regulation since 22 against Michigan.
Oh, so they like to mix up who they play during this last week of the regular season. I like that.
Yeah, for a while, I would say Michigan State probably the most common opponent. I'm just looking at the list here, but I think it just has to do with the Big Ten scheduling matrix more than anything. Irish take the puck off the defensive zone draw. Stepping over the line here, Brennan Ali just chased off his stick. He tracks down Smith, who had it go into the goal there. Puck still in the zone. Ali picks it up, curling to the slot. He's on his backhand, far side, tosses it to the front of the net. Saved by Radler, and then Nelson was lurking around for the rebound. He finds it again inside the zone. Ali right point, couldn't dish it for Nelson, and the puck comes back out to neutral territory. Just underway here in the third. Cole Knuble has it jump off his stick in neutral territory. Misa up for Weebush. He's got a step. Weebush is in, and then he just got his stick lifted by Kumlin on the play. Puck comes back out to center. The Irish skating into the offensive zone now. It's Knuble leading the attack for Mazzani. A shot, whistled it wide. Stepped down that right side and had a good look. Another guy being honored here on senior night. Does have an extra year eligibility, though. Here's Weebush on the right side. He's got DeMarsico headed to the net. Weebush stops on the half wall there. Curls back, try to send it back into the corner for DeMarsico now. Comes up to the half wall. DeMarsico pushed over by Werner. Irish will take the puck. Mazzotti up the left side with Brown tracking down the middle. Sutter Mazzotti, bottom of the face-off circle, now behind the goal. Looking back out to the point, stops on the half wall. Lost the puck on the backhand. Good battle in there with Gadowski in the far corner. It'll trickle towards the middle of the ice. Look out, Werner on the backhand. Stopped by Riedler. Rebound loose to the corner. Weebush can't clear it. Master Domenico at the line. Walks to the middle. Far side. Brown. Shot goes high. Off the glass but not out. Master Domenico back near point. This one to the front of the net. Off a leg. Back to the goal again. Save made. Rebound loose there, but Werner couldn't get a stick on it. And now Lawback will just skate it to safety and dump it into the Irish end.
Yeah, and behind the play, as all that was happening, Henry Nelson hurt behind the play, currently sitting on the bench, not standing up with the rest of his defensemen. He's in some pain.
That would be a big loss for this Notre Dame team. Nelson plays some big minutes on the back end, the junior from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Picked up here by the Nittany Lions. Fink on the right side. He'll backhand it into the zone. Schoen goes up there behind the net for it. He's first on the forecheck, hits Kumlin, but the Irish will take the puck. Panofemis lofts a high punt through center ice. It'll go into the zone. Dasher Oliver tracks it down. Behind the goal line, Carter Slaggert hit into the boards there. Femis comes through here in the near corner and goes back to the line for Fisher. D quickly. Right point stepping in. Kumlin is on the half wall, bottom of the circle. Now Kumlin tried the sharp angle shot and a save by Raedler. Penn State just gets it out over the stick of Dasher Oliver. A lucky hop for the Nittany Lions, and they'll get a change. They're gassed right now, though. Collins was all tied up with Slaggert behind the play there, so the Irish couldn't press the puck back into the zone. They'll make a change too as Panofemis rifles one in on the right side. Bell up there first on the half wall. 16:58 on the clock. Nittany Lions 2, Irish 2. Here in the last home game of this regular season for Notre Dame. Pushed up the left wall. Jaden Kerr will step back with it. Bumbles off a body to the middle of the ice, and Maddox Fleming, who has scored tonight after being scratched the last few games. He'll skate in on the left side. Centering pass. Jovanovic just missed the net. It's Fleming back in the far corner for Jovanovic behind the goal. Now Nelson wires one. Good to see Henry's okay. He stepped into that shot. Now it jumps over the stick of Kerr at the right point and out. Henry back on the puck here. He doesn't even miss a shift. Gets it into the zone. Jackson Smith starts to break out the other way. Misa now skating quickly left side. Luke Misa, he's been all around it tonight. Sends one in on goal from the corner, and it's stopped by Kemp for a whistle.
Captain Obvious here, but I love the start to the third period for Notre Dame. A lot of pressure in the offensive zone for the Irish.
Yeah, and you know they're generating chances. They're doing it in multiple ways. Sometimes it's off the rush, like the Mazzotti one-timer that got the glass. Sometimes it's off the forecheck, like the recent Jovanovic chance. You know, they're doing it in many ways, and you know, got to score in many ways.
Face off to the right of Kempf. This one comes in from the line by Smith. Rebound is loose. Poking away at it. Misa on the far post, and it's underneath the pad of Kemp for another stoppage. I think that's a great point, guys. This is a Notre Dame team that has been through the ringer this season, and it's impressive to see them. They haven't stopped playing even in this last home game of the season. They're definitely going to finish last in the Big Ten. From the outside in, they don't have a lot to play for, but certainly don't look at the last few weeks.
With the way the Big Ten playoffs are set up, you only have to win one game once you get in, and then you're in the Big Ten semis.
And we saw last year they can win 2 games in a series as the number 7 seed. So
no more series.
Here's Danny Nelson for Ali. Ali back to the front of the goal, just missed wide. Sorry to cut you off there, Jack.
No
one
problem.
Goes to the front of the net. It was hit by a high stick, so Knuble couldn't play it on. But I think that's exactly right. That's been the mantra that Notre Dame's had all year, or seemingly these last few weeks.
Yeah, and
playoff hockey.
I know it's only one game this year, as you mentioned. The semifinal or the quarterfinal will be on March 11th. That's a Wednesday. Surprisingly, they'll play presumably either Michigan or Michigan State. Whoever does not win the regular season conference title will Notre Dame. But I agree with you, Murph. You know, they've clinched 7th. This game and the next 2 don't matter. Right? After that, you win 7 in a row, you win a national championship. But
Master Domenico drives into the zone down the left side. Couldn't get the centering pass to connect with anyone, and Weebush will start to break out for Penn State with a cross-ice pass to DeMarsico. Conference tournament champions get an auto bid to the NCAA tournament. Puck is below the goal line in the Notre Dame end. Now Mazzotti will find it, controlling it, and he'll skate it out to center. Sutter on the right side, backhands it in. He'll give chase into the far corner. Shade over there, hits him into the boards. It's Law back, the left side. DeMarsico, cross ice for Weebush. He'll step out of his own end, but had it bounce off his stick, so he has to restart here. Gadowski, watched by Mazzotti as he passes it up to DeMarsico. Behind the back pass for Lawback. He'll go cross corner and in. 15:08 on the clock. Penn State gets a change in this 2-2 hockey game.
Notre Dame playing so well in this third period. Charlie Morris is talking about winning the national championship.
I'm just saying. 3 wins for the Big Ten, and then 32-team format. It's 4 wins.
Dashiell Oliver up the right side for Carter Slagerton in. They're certainly getting the depth scoring. Dash, one of the guys that scored last night for Notre Dame.
16 teams, I should say.
He's got it here in the near side corner. Oliver, watched by Amon. Oliver to the line. It's Jaden Kerr, top of the circle with a shot. Lots of traffic in front, but he missed wide. It'll come off the glass and out between the blue lines now for Henry Nelson. He'll step back in. Irish are offside here. I don't think Carter Slaggert heard the official there, and he's showing his frustration as a result. Here's Chin DeGraves with some speed coming out of his own end. Chin DeGraves to the monogram, and it's whisked in by Van Olm. Puck goes over to that far side. Irish are quickly right back out of the zone. It's Maddox Fleming for Henry Nelson. Nelson couldn't drag it on. Oh, he did drag it around forward. Right in bottom of the circle. Couldn't get the centering pass to Bell in the middle. Goes to the far side for Jovanovic. Played it behind the net where it was taken away from him by Katzen. And now Jackson Smith will settle things down behind his own cage. 13:49 on the clock. 2-2. Ford on the right side. Connecting into the middle with Crespo stepping up. Crespo bats the puck between the Notre Dame defenders, but he got held up and has to go battling for it behind the goal line. Irish win it free. And now Jovanovic gains the red line and dumps it in. Back forward, here's Smith. Touch pass for Fink on the right side. He'll come skating out of his own end, cuts to the middle of the rink around Nelson. Fink down the middle, offensive zone now, right side, bottom of the circle. He'll go into the corner, checked by Master Domenico. Picked up by Gavin McKenna. He's been rather quiet tonight after that assist on the opening goal for the Nittany Lions. Back at the point here, here's Shade, a shot, and a good save made by Kempf. No rebound with Gadowski lurking in front.
Yeah, and that's a key play by Kempf to leave no rebound. It's not one of his strengths, is rebound control. He does sometimes leave some breadcrumbs around the front of the net, but this time swallows it up. And that's important because Gadowski, the defenseman, right on top of the blue paint. No green sweater other than Kempf in the immediate area. So if he had left a rebound, that would have been a grade A chance for the defenseman right in front of the net, looking for his first goal of the season.
Pretty good screen there by Gadowski, too, for a guy who might not be in that position a lot. Irish can't get it out off the defensive zone draw. Fink to the middle. McKenna, look out. Gadowski shoots. Missed it high. Mazzotti might have got a piece of it, and it does go up and out of play. But Matt Gadowski, sort of a broken play, and he steps down the right side, had a great chance.
Yeah, Kempf made a good stop there. I think it was tipped by Mazzotti, and Kempf still had to stop it from reaching the back of the net. He made a nice move there to press it away into the netting.
Take a quick break here. 2-2 between Notre Dame and Penn. Back to Compton Family Ice Arena. Notre Dame 2, number 5 Penn State 2 with 12:59 to go on the clock here in the third period, and a face-off to the left of Nick Kempf after the puck out of play. It's been a great series between these two teams, which you might not have expected from their records coming in, but Notre Dame has played above what the results have shown for the better part of 2 months now. It's always been the challenge. The challenge has always been getting results this season. See if they can get one tonight. Penn State gets the result off the offensive zone draw. McKenna turning in the corner. He finds Misa coming out from behind the goal line with a sharp angle shot. Stopped by Kemp for a whistle.
Yeah, and 100% there. For Notre Dame this year, at the start of the year, they were being outplayed in almost every single game, especially once non-conference play began. But you cannot say the same in the second half of the season. And tonight's another example, hanging right with the number 5 team in the country.
12:50 to go here on senior night, and Notre Dame wins the defensive zone draw and gets it out. Jackson Smith tracking back at his own end. Ali all over him trying to force a turnover, but he gets it to Fink on the right side. Fink leaves it. Crespo lugging the puck into the Irish zone. Left side, Crespo trying to drive his way to the net, but a good stick by Henry Nelson pokes it to the corner. It's now this way. Aiden Fink touches it off the wall for McKenna. McKenna on the half wall himself now. Back for Crespo. One-timer blocked by the hand of Brennan Ali, and the Irish get it out. Henry Nelson for Cole Knuble across the blue line. Cole just poked off his stick by the Columbus Blue Jacket prospect Smith. And then a turnover here. Knuble couldn't catch the pass from Henry Nelson. Still loose between the blue lines. McKenna shoots a wobbling puck right into the feet of Jaden Kerr, who will step back with it now. Up the right side in front of the Irish bench. Mazzotti spins it into the zone. Crespo back for it first for Penn State. Leaves it off the boards for Carter Shade. The right side for J.J. Wiebusch. He's a guy who has a nose for the net for Penn State, but has been quiet himself this weekend. Coming out from behind his net, Shade torn down. Brown pushes the puck back into the corner. Irish might have had an opportunity there momentarily, but Brown couldn't find Mazzotti. And now another loose puck here. Godowski couldn't get a hold of. Mazzotti couldn't get a hold of it really either, though. Behind the net, Shade again. This time he gets it out with safety off the window. Master Domenico in his own end. Bounces it off a stick to Brown. Coming through center ice in front of the scores table. Cole Brown takes a high stick to the face. And the referee going to take both of them again? That's as blatant as a high stick as you can get on Cade Christensen. And it shouldn't matter whether Brown sold the call or not, which, for the record, I don't know. I'm not going to weigh in. You guys can be the judges of that.
No, one man once told me you got to stop complaining about the refs, so I'll let that man handle the analysis, Jack.
I didn't see it, personally. Crowd doesn't like it.
I'm with the crowd.
I am as well.
See the replay up on the TV there.
He gets a high stick right in his neck. What is he supposed to do there? I know he goes down hard, but it's not that hard.
I'm wondering if they're getting him for the high stick as he was dragged to the ground. He had his stick up in the air as well. He made contact with Matt Godowski's face.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout. According to Stat Broadcast, they're calling it embellishment, which would indicate otherwise, but I'm with you. That would be the only logical explanation. We got a fan holding a thumbs down poster. That's one way to get on the Jumbotron.
So the penalty to Schoen for a high stick and Brown for the embellishment. Will play it 4-on-4 for 2 minutes here. And quickly a chance for Penn State now. Misa 3-on-1. Misa down the right side. Good poke check by Axel Kuhlman on the back check. And the puck goes to the near half wall where the Irish take it away. 10:53 to go in the period and 1:40 to go in the matching minor penalties to Brown and Schoen. Across the line, here's Danny Nelson. Shoots, scores! Danny Nelson, second of the game. He drags the puck past Kevin Riedler. A great little snapshot from the bottom of the near circle, and it's 3-2 Irish. Guess the 4-on-4 ended up working out for him after all.
Well, Danny's played a great game tonight, and that's continuing. This is an absolutely perfect shot. I didn't think he had any kind of window with Amon right in front of him. And Murph, like you said, he dragged, snuck it around, and Notre Dame has the lead. See if they can close it out.
Irish 3, Nittany Lions 2. 10.5 to play here in the third. Smith will go back for it. You know Penn State will have something to say about it after coming back from 3 goals down over the course of the game last night. They did it against Ohio State last week as well. But the Irish have the lead here late. Penn State with a chance now. McKenna on the right side. Gavin McKenna couldn't get the centering pass to Smith, jumping up in the rush.
Yeah, that's Jaden Kerr. Unbelievable stick.
And now Brennan Ali will skate with it into the Nittany Lion end right side. Ali walking his way through, stripped of it by Fink, and here goes McKenna. in a one-on-one end of his shift. McKenna, nice little drag move. He's in, saved by Kempf. Wow, he walked Michael Mastrodomenico there.
Oh my God.
That was some sick hands like we haven't seen all weekend from Gavin McKenna. There's a reason he's in contention for the top overall pick in the upcoming NHL draft in the spring. Puck here in the near corner, Irish end. Outlet pass right side. And up comes Brennan Ali. Gadowski minding him as he goes down to the half wall and then into the corner in the Nittany line end. Blind backhand centering pass to nobody. Will start the Penn State breakout. DeMarsico circles back with it. And he'll skate up the middle, just to the right of the monogram. Coming into the Irish end now. DeMarsico couldn't execute the stick handle on Mastrodomenico himself, and the Irish come the other way with speed. Down the right side, a quick wrister, just missed wide of the goal, and it comes back out to center ice off the tape of Knuble. DeMarsico backhands it down. Penn State getting a change in. 9 minutes to play. Irish have just taken the lead on a Danny Nelson goal, and he comes into the zone again. Here's Danny stopping on the half wall. Circles up, back to the front of the net. Saved by Radler, and no rebound with Dashiell Oliver looking for maybe some loose change in front of the net.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the Nelson go-ahead goal. My brother is a goalie at Princeton Division I level. He says it's extremely hard for a goalie to save when you do a toe drag and then shoot it low to the stick side, and that's exactly what Nelson did. He's a left-handed shot, beat Radler to the low blocker. Perhaps when Radler sees the toe drag, he starts drifting to his left a little bit, shot back to the right side. It's 3-2 Notre Dame.
Face off to the left of Radler here. That's great analysis, Charlie.
Well, I'll give my credit to Brady Morris, Princeton hockey, class of 2029.
Oh, no.
A spin out by the Notre Dame goal. Irish will come up and ahead. Fisher, that's well behind the play. Dropped off for Oliver, and a save into the glove of Radler. That'll bring us to another whistle. A Taft alum, right?
He is a Taft alum.
Got to give a shout out to the Taft School, Watertown, Connecticut, where I was born and raised. Charlie and I share that connection. Great hockey program at Taft as well.
Absolutely. Great program up there in Connecticut. Not just Taft, ton of schools up there. It's in the middle of, let's say, less inhabited part of the United States than average. But a lot of good hockey up there, a lot of good sports in general.
Face off to the left of Radler, quickly to the goal there by Jovanovic. And just getting a piece of it with the toe was the Penn State goaltender. Loose here on the near board, chin to Graves. Taken into the wall by Will Bell. Fourth line out there for the Irish. It's sent back into the far corner. Maddox Fleming there first. Bounces his man forward. Now back to the front. Jovanovic centered. And it goes right onto the stick of Katzen. It'll start the Penn State breakout the other way. Katzen with Ford. Katzen to Ford going to the goal. Just missed him. Pass was a bit too high and it comes out. Irish will loft it through center. Jovanovic skates on it here in the near corner. It stops on the goal line. Centers for Bell. Lost in his skates. Katzen will skate it the other way. Three skaters aside as Penn State comes into the zone. McKenna on the ice. Katzen cycles it back in low for Schoen. McKenna coming in to help out on the half wall. 7:47 to play. And it's 3-2 Notre Dame. The Irish dig the puck out in their own zone. The center for Bell. He taps it in. Fourth line goes off on a change for the Irish. Here's Smith. Coming out of his own zone, the leading scorer among defensemen for Penn State. Walks into the Irish end. Smith to the front of the net. He was hammered on the boards, but a nice centering pass was cut off. Look out the other way. 3-on-1 for Notre Dame. It's Cole Brown for Werner. Back to Brown. Save, rebound. Puck loose in the paint, and they can't tap it in. Radler was well out of the goal. Irish are still playing on here. Sharp angle shot. And another stop by Radler off Brown, and quickly the other way. Here's McKenna trying to catch the Irish. Kevin McKenna all by himself, stops. He's knocked down. Shade comes through to pick up the puck. Carter Shade in the corner, looking around, trying to find a free Nittany Lion. Shade still on it in the corner. Stopping and starting on Kumlin. To the line here for Lawback. Lawback, Gadowski right point. Back for Lawback, left point. Walks to the circle, sends it to the front of the goal. Tipped by DeMarsico high. Now DeMarsico strips Fisher. It's loose in front. DeMarsico knocked down. No penalty called there.
Wow.
And Notre Dame escapes. They get the puck out to center. Both teams escape there. Wow.
Yeah, you said it best, and definitely could have been a call against Notre Dame there, but play on 5-on-5.
6.5 to go. Cole Knuble skating into the Nittany Lion end. He'll go back behind the goal. Now to the near corner. Knuble drops it off. Nelson looking to the middle. Brennan Ali trying to get free there. Nelson spin move to the front. Puck loose in the slot. Ali well taken care of there by Gadowski. They were exchanging stick barbs. Cycled right back in low. Knubel had to jump over his tape in the near corner. Misa up the wall, blocked down by Ali. Ali on the half wall, lost a handle on it. Misa couldn't find Weebush. It'll come out of the zone, but free for Danny Nelson to knock, I was going to say into the zone, but he actually knocked it off the extra glass in the Penn State bench and out of play. Wow. Hold your breath, folks. 5:52 to play. Notre Dame holding a 1-goal lead over number 5 Penn State here on Seniors Night. We'll step aside one more time. You're listening to Notre Dame Hockey on the voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. Say we're Fighting Irish this season, but they're going well right now and they're going at the right time. Last home game here against number 5 Penn State, and they have the lead with 5:52 to go. Ryan Murphy, Charlie Morris, Jack Rinaldi bringing you all the action this weekend on Senior Weekend from Compton Family Ice Arena. Face off here at Center Ice. Guys are liking what you've seen from Danny Nelson and Paul Fisher especially tonight.
I said Danny Nelson and Paul Fisher have looked like the best two players on the ice, bar none, I think, for either team tonight. Even with Gavin McKenna on the ice for Penn State, they have done such a great job, and they're a big reason why Notre Dame has the lead late in this one.
Winning the draw on the monogram, there is Luke Misa, and Penn State will come into the zone now. Misa, high backhand flip. McKenna couldn't knock it down. The Irish are quickly out and quickly in to the Nittany line end. It's Brennan Ali. High backhand centering pass was batted away by Radler. Knubel was coming through the middle there. Nelson cycles it back in low. Here's Knubel along the goal line. Lost it at the bottom of the circle near side. Ali picks it up, though, on the half wall. Touches it just to the circle for Nelson. Now back behind the goal for Knubel on his backhand, coming out on the far side. Spins, looking for an option. Finds Danny in the middle with a shot and a save by Radler. Man, you could see them setting that one up perfectly, and that might be Radler's best stop we've seen.
Well, maybe best stop in the last minute and 30 seconds after he robbed Cole Brown on the 3-on-1. He has been unbelievable in this third period. Yes, he probably could have had the goal, so maybe I should slightly retract my statement, but that is a grade A save. That's his second grade A save in the last 2 minutes, and he's had a couple more earlier in this game as well.
Pano wins the draw in the offensive zone. He's got it here on the near side boards. Now going to the front of the net. Couldn't connect with anyone on the backhand pass along the goal line, and Penn State clears it to, I should say, maybe not his best save, but certainly his most crucial to keep this a 1-goal game with 5 minutes to go.
Right on, Ryan.
Puck is in the Irish end here. Dashiell Oliver can't clear it. McKenna to the middle. Couldn't find Chin DeGraves there. Chin DeGraves looking to win the puck back over there on the far half wall. Pano spins away from him and finds Carter Slaggert. Tips it out on the Irish blue line. It's shot right back in by Crespo. Fisher on the far wall. Drops it back even further behind the goal to Kumlin, trying to settle things down with 4.5 to play. Irish up 3-2 up the right side, and Oliver deflects it into the far corner. Carter Slaggert on it first. Crespo takes him into the boards. Van Olm was in there as well, shown up to the line, but not out. That was a blind pass. Henry Nelson shoots. Glove save. Puck loose there. Radler dropped it. He had to reach out far to catch that with Carter Slaggert providing a screen in front of the net. Penn State in the offensive zone here. Smith drags his way around Werner, pushes the puck behind the goal where Femus came through to pick it up. It's in the far corner now. We've hit 4 minutes left to play. Irish ahead by 1. Look out in front. DeMarsico stopped by Kempf. And we get a stoppage. Matt DeMarsico found himself all alone at the bottom of the circle with a free puck coming out of the far corner. And talk about crucial saves. Nick Kempf with a big one.
It was, but DeMarsico did him a favor with all the net to play with. He just went right at Kemp's chest. It was a relatively routine save for a one-on-one play. DeMarsico had nobody in front of him, could have done whatever he wanted, and he just went right at Kemp. So Credit Nick Kemp for making it look easy, but Matt DeMarsico maybe made it a little easier on him.
Yeah, and Kemp has to push off from his goal line all the way to the top of the blue paint to cut down that angle and force that shot into his chest. So you nailed it, Jack. He made a hard save look easy.
Good aggressive play by the Irish sophomore netminder. Penn State holds the puck in. Law back from the line. Just skittered into the near corner here, pinching down the wall. They hold it in. Gadowski cycles it up high for Law back, and a blocker stopped by Kemp from out high. No traffic in front.
That was a crucial save, because I think that was going to be an absolutely perfectly placed shot if Kemp did not go up high with the blocker and knock it into the netting. I mean, that was as well placed a shot as I've seen in this game. That thing didn't have any room on top of it. It would have scored if Kemp did not get the blocker on.
Isn't it crazy how good these guys have a release? Unbelievable.
3:38 to go. And it's 3-2 Notre Dame. They win the defensive zone draw, have it in neutral territory now. It's Ali across the line. Left side, Knubel. Oh, he's bounced from behind by Lawback, no call. Ali here in the near corner, stripped of it by Smith, and DeMarsico has it left side, Nittany Lion end. Knubel gloves down the stretch pass. He's not able to keep it though, and Nittany Lions come into the zone. It's Wiebusch, had a man going to the front of the net. It went off the leg of Smith though, and the Irish will break the other way. Up to the line, Fisher. He rifles it in. Notre Dame changing behind the play as it goes around the boards to the far side. Law back, up for DeMarsico, missed him. Carter Slaggert has it on the red line. Shoots it right back in. 2:50 to play. Irish ahead by the Danny Nelson goal. At 10:53 left in this third period. Here's Misa, couldn't handle the pass in neutral territory. Now Fink comes in, 2-on-1 with McKenna. Great back check to strip Fink of the puck.
Jaden Kerr again.
That's two great plays this period against the top line for Kerr.
McKenna back into the zone here. Kicks it for Misa on the left wall. McKenna centers. Here's Gadowski to the front. Blocked by Slaggert. 2:20 to play. Penn State in the offensive zone. Keep an eye on Radler here. Gadowski shot, score! It was tipped in front by Luke Misa. And the Calgary Flames prospect has tied the game with his 8th of the year. Just 2:15 left on the clock.
So interesting here, Guy Gadowski puts his best guys on the ice with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play, but does not pull his goalie. So you're thinking either he's going to wait till like a minute and a half when they're able to rest and then get back out there, or he's going to have to burn his timeout and leave them out for a really extended shift, or they can just score at 5-on-5 and Misa's shot, or Misa's tip, Gadowski's shot. So Matt Gadowski, 2 primary assists this weekend. And Luke Misa, Ryan, you called it in the first period. He's around it, and he's tied the game.
Yep, that one was coming for Luke Misa. And we're all where we were last night around this time. 2 minutes to play, squared at 3. Penn State dumps it in off the blocker of Kemp. Nelson turned it over to Chin DeGraves at the blue line. Chin DeGraves spinning on the half wall. He's kind of hooked and held by Ali there. No call, of course, and the Irish will send it out of the zone. I don't say that. It wasn't a malicious hook and hold. Just it's been that kind of series. A lot of clutch and grab. The Irish send it all the way down the ice. And a chance here for Carter Shade to set things up with 98 seconds to play. For Luke Misa, the recent goal scorer. He's tied it, hustling up that left side on Kumlin. Sharp angle shot and rebound is loose. Wiebusch right into the pads of Kemp for a whistle. Offensive zone draw coming up for the Nittany Lions here.
Penn State looks much better than they did for the first 17 and a half minutes of this period right now. They are generating a lot offensively, and Notre Dame just hanging on, desperately trying to get into the locker room. Or not even at this point, just trying to go to overtime.
3-on-3 overtime, and a shootout awaits if neither team scores with the remaining 89 seconds left in regulation. That's what we had last night. We went all the way to a shootout where Penn State won it. Off the window and out off the defensive zone draw for Notre Dame, but Penn State rings it right back in. Here's Mazzotti. Kicks it out the right side. Evan Werner. Irish are not onside. I didn't think so. Cole Brown just ahead of the play here on the near side, and we'll get a neutral zone face-off. Minute 15 left on the clock.
I mean, wouldn't it be accurate if this game went to beyond regulation?
It's been that even.
It has, and last night was the same story but a different story. Whereas in Notre Dame got that 3-0 lead, they were way better throughout the night, but especially at the start. Tonight has really been neck and neck. These teams have sometimes had spurts, but overall it's probably deservedly tied at 3.
Face off in front of the scores table, and the Irish win it. Sent into the zone here on the near side by Henry Nelson. In the far corner, lofted out to center there by Christensen. It can go all the way through neutral ice and down for an icing with 1:01 to play. It's the Irish's turn for an offensive zone draw.
If you want some momentum in your Notre Dame, it's going to have to be right here. This is a great chance. You're going to have your top line out there with a face-off in the offensive zone, have to win this one, and then have to do something with it. Danny Nelson looks like will take it for Notre Dame.
As he'll be on his strong side, Ryan, and Lawback also on his strong side.
61 seconds to play. Irish playing their last home game of the 2026 season here at Compton Family Ice Arena. It's been a thriller. And we're tied at 3 with a minute to go. It seems appropriate. We'll do a restart on this face-off to the right of Kevin Radler. He allowed the goal to Danny Nelson just about 9 minutes ago, but his team has since come back to tie the score. It's a tie-up off the face-off. Lawback clears. Fisher steps back on his own blue line and sends it in. Radler out of his net to stop it. Couldn't handle it well. Ali rushed the centering pass and turned it over. Weebush taps it ahead for DeMarsico. 2-on-2 with Lawback through center ice. Lawback was offside. Everyone getting a little bit jumpy here late. 30 seconds to play, and the Irish trek it up and ahead. It's Cole Knuble into the zone. Pushes it behind Radler. Ali there first for the Irish, battling with Godowski. Shade comes through to pick it up, and he'll just loft one out to center. Henry Nelson steps back on the bouncing puck, but Fink there first. Couldn't pull the trigger into the Irish end. Centering pass for DeMarsico was cut off. Irish the other way with 15 seconds to play. Here's Carter Slaggert left side. Carter along the goal line. Shot blocked by Godowski. 10 seconds to play. It's down low. Carter centers. Up in the air. Knocked down by Themis. Off the stick of DeMarsico. Here's Fleming to the front. Takes a deflection. 1 second. Shot right back through the crease. Out the other side. And there's the siren. All zeros on the clock. 3s on the scoreboard. And we're headed to overtime in the final game of the season here at Compton.
Yeah, I think a good third period overall for Notre Dame. They probably had about 60% of the chances in that period, but you got to give credit to Penn State being opportunistic. They score to tie it late on a nice shot from Godowski that's tipped in by Misa. So, Jack, you got to call overtime yesterday, and let's give Murph a shot, shall we?
All I have for analysis is a question, and it's one I asked last night at the beginning of the overtime period. Who wants to be the hero for Notre Dame? Will it be a senior on senior night? Will it be one of your standout juniors? Will it be Danny Nelson? Will it be Paul Fisher? Will it be Cole Knuble? We haven't called his name a lot tonight. Maybe him. It's got to be somebody for Notre Dame, though. This would be such a feel-good thing to get done on senior night against the 5th-ranked team in the country.
Notre Dame does not have a win in overtime this season. They are 0-2-5. 5 games have gone to the shootout. They have a couple of shootout wins in there.
They do, and it's the 6th time in the last 11 games now that they've gone beyond regulation. So we're talking about, early in the year they're losing out the wazoo in regulation. Now they're certainly making it much closer, and this is why I think that they can absolutely go on a Cinderella run in the tournament. They have the ability to win any night. They continue to get good but not great goaltending. They continue to generate chances. Their finishing is good but not great. And one bounce here, one bounce there. Cole Brown buries the 3-on-1. Danny Nelson buries the chance from the slot. And this game is over right now, but instead we'll play overtime, and who can complain about free hockey?
I think you said it, Jack. This would just be such a feel-good thing for this team going into their final regular season series next week at Ohio State. Then the Big Ten tournament. You don't expect a lot to happen there, but even just to carry over into next year for this Irish program in their first year under head coach Brock Sheehan. Penn State 2-2-2 in overtime, by the way. And Notre Dame will skate from left to right across your radio. Penn State from right to left here in overtime. The 3s that have been sent out there so far, it's McKenna, Jackson, Smith, and the face-off specialist, Katzen, for Penn State. Nelson, Knuble, and Paul Fisher, of course, for Notre Dame. And Nelson wins the draw. Fisher will come back at his own end. Katzen will stay out there because the Irish take the puck first. Fisher behind his own goal will get things started. Bad pass, but Knuble will catch up to it, and he'll come in right side. Cole with a bit of space. Shoots! Missed the goal wide. It got the glass and goes all the way back down into the Irish end. Fisher's on it first, but Katzon's right on him. Into the far corner they go. He's hit. Puck comes free to the near side, and McKenna's on it first for Penn State. Gavin McKenna centered for Katzon. He missed him, though. And it goes back out to center ice. Knuble tracking it down. He'll go in low with Smith, and Knuble comes up with it first. He goes around the goal. Irish are changing behind the play. Leaves it. Axel Kumlin with a shot. And the senior was stopped. Rebound loose to the middle. Mazzotti waiting for Kumlin. Scores! The senior on senior night, Axel Kumlin, his third of the year. The first overtime victory for Notre Dame of the season, and they finish off a great series at home with a feel-good victory over the number 5 Nittany Lions. How about that? I gotta say, guys, I think the hug at the end said it all. Kumlin practically jumped into the arms of Sutter Mazzotti, who set him up for the game-winning goal. Final score, Notre Dame 4, Penn State 3.
And what better than Sutter Mazzotti, the senior grad student assist on the goal by Axel Kumlin, who hasn't had as good a season as he would have hoped, but what a signature moment. And how about the rush off the bench for a team that has not done much of that this year, and they get it done in the most dramatic, unbelievable storybook way. Kumlin buries it on the cross-crease pass. Radler got a piece of it, but finally someone was looking out for the Irish, and it just crosses the goal line. Kumlin the game winner, Mazzotti gets the assist, and Notre Dame gets the win. They go 1-0-1 this weekend.
And I do want to say, after maybe a little bit of a down night, Cole Knuble made that happen. He chased down the puck on the far half wall all the way below the goal line. Got it over to Mazzotti, who found Kumlin, and the Irish get the win on senior night.
Maybe there is a little bit of magic in those green jerseys left in a year that has felt really devoid of any sort of magic.
Let's listen to this.
And we'll leave you with the alma mater here. Well, that'll do it for our coverage of the 2026 Notre Dame hockey season here on WVFI. Of course, the Irish will go on next weekend for their final regular season series against the Ohio State Buckeyes. But want to say a word of thanks first to you guys. You guys couldn't have finished it with two better partners here. And a word of thanks to everyone just behind the scenes who really makes this possible for us at WVFI. It'd be remiss to mention our advisors, Lori McFadden, Pete Farrow, and Dylan Wallace. The whole cast of crew who have called games here at Compton Family Ice Arena. I know, we all know it's something special to call a hockey game, and it's especially special to call it here. So lots to be grateful for here in this season, and it's nice to see this Irish team. It's really worked for it. Lots to be grateful for tonight as well.
Yeah, and Ryan, don't sell yourself short. You, co-president of the WVFI club, you've grown this to a point where we get three-person booths, not because we want to, because we have to, because there's so much interest in calling sports for WVFI. You've put games on YouTube. This year we got the Georgetown lacrosse game that got 2,000 listeners. And again, the interest in broadcasting games is so high, and it's big shout out to you and to Tyler Reedy, who is, got a nod on senior night, and I can't wait to hear his call of that last goal. I can't wait to rehear your call of that last goal, Ryan. And what an unbelievable way to end a season, which has been anything but storybook. But you're absolutely right. I'm so thankful for you and all the work you do, and looking forward to calling some spring sports if we don't go on the road for the Big Ten quarterfinals.
Yep, we'll have the Stanford basketball game for you here on the network next Wednesday. But that'll do it for us, for Compton Family Ice Arena. Jack Rinaldi, Charlie Morris. My name's Ryan Murphy. Your final score is Notre Dame 3. Notre Dame 4. Gosh. Penn State 3. Thanks for listening from Compton Family Ice Arena for the whole 2026 season. And good night.